Hello, one and all. Welcome back to Wanderer's Haven. I'm Kevin, your host today, one of the co-producers here on the channel, and we are so glad to be back playing We Get to Play again. For those who have never seen it, We Get to Play, it's a nice, cool little show that we do usually once or twice a month, where we get to play a game that's been sitting on our shelf, really just digging in, wanting us to play it, and we give it that love. So, today, we get to play Vaesen by Free League Publishing. An amazing game. I love it. Small little cheat. I have played it before. I've played it, though. I've not run it, so it's going to be new for me, too, in that regard. As you can see around me, I've got some amazing players that are going to help me tell a story today, and we are going to do just that. So, let's meet them, shall we? Let's start right here on my side. Deb, ladies first. Hello, welcome back. Once again, Deb, it's always a
Hello.
pleasure to have you here. So, Deb, tell us who you are, who you're playing, and just a little blurb about yourself, and so we can get to know you.
Yeah, I'm Deb. I am playing Bridget today. She is a young woman who has some occultist powers, and I have never played Basin before, so I'm really excited to be here at the table. It's going to be very fun.
Yes, you're going to be a natural. It's going to be amazing. It's a great game, very easy to get into, and when you are a master player such as yourself, you will just rock and roll. I love it. So thank you for being here, though, Deb. It's going to be great. Let's go. I'm going to go just right in a clockwise circular fashion. Let's go jump down to right below her. Not below her in status or anything fun like that. Just below her on the screen. Shiv, what's happening, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you for being here
Yes.
as well.
No, thank you for having me at this table. It's great to play with these people and get to play in a game that you're running. I am Shiv, yes. And I am playing Dr. James Kincaid, a man of science and a disbeliever of the occult and anything mysterious until it's proven true. And yeah, and I've played Vaesen once before, so it's always good to get a chance to jump back in. It's a great game, it's a great system, so let's have some fun with it.
Oh yeah, perfect. Well said. Well said. I couldn't have done that better. Thank you so much. And finally, Ian, right below me. How you doing? Great to see you as always, Ian. You are a blessing to have here too. So hello.
Hi, I'm very grateful to be seen. Yeah, I'm Ian, everybody. You guys see me before. You can find your boy Big on all socials, and I'm playing Franklin Gunther, the private detective. He's kind of in the middle. Like he's seen some stuff that he can't really explain, and then of course like things of natural science. So it's gonna be fun. Like it's just stuck right in the middle, questioning everything. So.
Excellent. I think we're going to have a nice little trifecta of fun. So great. I love it. Yes, and I am Kevin, as I mentioned. I can be found online to the socials at KevRan Games. We'll get into more of that later. But I just want to dive into some Vaesen fun. A little bit about the setting before we begin. Vaesen is set in mythic Norway, mythic Scandinavia. It is a kind of an alternate world type of look of a land where the Vaesen, ancient creatures of mythological lore, do exist. They interact with the natural world. They have certain guiles and certain activities that they're into. They also maybe even have plans for the mortals around them. Not everybody can see these creatures, however, because they are supernatural. The human mind tends to create excuses or natural veils to keep these things at bay. However, there are certain individuals, special individuals, who have been touched by this strange magic of these creatures. They call them the sighted or the Thursday's children. These people, as depicted by our players here today, are actual players who have the sight, which is a mystical ability to see the Vaesen and can actually interact with them sometimes and maybe find out what they're about. Because of this, there has been a growing desire to make sure that the Vaesen are understood and their purposes are known. So there is the society that was created some years ago that like-minded individuals with similar training, skills, and capabilities are able to come forward, work together, and to find out what's up with the Vaesen out there and find out how they interact. So our players are one such group, three characters who have worked together before. They've been a group for, we decided, a few years now, about 3 years. They've been a group, and they've been investigating. They come from different walks of life, but one thing keeps them together, which is, in fact, they are the sighted. They are those who are able to do and to see what others cannot. Most recently, the characters actually received a summons, a special note that was brought to them by one of their superiors. It would seem that there is an investigator in a nearby town who is actually looking for some aid. If we'll see that note as it comes up onto the screen, we're going to see that if we could, one of you please, whoever you feel like would be the most robust in their diction here, take a moment, read us this note if you could, as you see it upon your screen. Bring us into the narrative with what it was you all were sent. I'll just pick one if you guys don't want to choose yourselves.
Well, I'll go. I'll go if you like.
Shiv,
Okay.
let's hear it, my friend. Beautiful.
The Dance of Dreams, a shadow play of horror, murder, and revenge. Let yourself be entrapped. This encaptured. Is that encaptured? This writing's terrible. Encaptured and terrified by shadow theatre with clockwork as amazing as that of the masters. Constructions on the Continent Watch. As evil smiles, good people go to their doom, and spirits come to life. Follow Oscar Hoyt's encounter with the Black One, his struggle, and finally the betrayal which claimed his life. Hear the tunes of the enchanted flute that send souls dancing to hell. The show will premiere shortly at the Witch Cat Inn, not for the faint of heart. Meet me tonight at the Witch Cat Inn. Signed, J. Klaus? Is it I Klaus? Or J. Klaus?
It is, in fact, signed Olas Klaus, who is an individual you all are to meet. So, thank you, Shiv, for doing that. You all three, as a group, because you are already a small cell of the society, you receive this letter from your superior. And at that time, you all have had some time. It's been about 2 days for the journey from where you guys were in Uppsala to where you guys are going. So you've had some time to do some research and to find out any sort of information if you choose to. So let's take a moment to rewind for a moment. Let's backtrack. Let's find out how it is each one of you three go about your process of doing that, whether together or apart. So let's start with Bridget. How is it, if you could also too, tell us a little bit about Bridget's personality, what she might be like, Deb. How does she go about finding information? How would she try to discern what's going on with this information from this note before you begin?
Yes. Bridget is a little bit scattered. She her hair tends to be sort of disheveled, and she wears rags because she doesn't have even a penny to her name, so she she's destitute. And so she got her powers from her grandmother, and so she sort of leans into memories of her grandmother, and she's still trying to understand them. And so she sort of leans into these memories of her grandmother and tries to conjure images of her grandmother to see if her grandmother can speak any wisdom into her ear as she studies the note.
Interesting. And what we would like to notice, of course, is that when she speaks about remembering her grandmother, summoning her grandmother, the spirit of her grandmother, we of course mean literally, right? I mean, you're an occultist. Yes. So yes, Bridget has a little bit of a gift that she has in addition to the sight. So you do, in fact, call upon your grandmother. You have a crystal ball that you pull out of your bag and you consult. There is the spirit of an elderly woman who comes forth into the crystal ball to whisper things to you from beyond the veil. And we'll get to find out exactly what you learned in just a moment. Dr. James Kincaid is different than Bridget. He has a much different background, a much different upbringing, and a much different approach. So Shiv, if you could tell us, how exactly does Dr. Kincaid go about just preparing himself and getting ready for such a mission to go find out what's going on at the Witch Cat Inn?
Well, he is very much a academic. He's a man of science. So he's looking for truth, proof, anything that's like tangible in the real world. He's a bit of a skeptic about the things that are supposedly, as he quotes, quote unquote, paranormal. So he's a bit of a sort of like, I'm sure there's an actual proper explanation for this. He has there's a bit of a past with certain things that have happened that he tries to discount as, oh, there's a reason for this. It's probably this, or this. So he's always looking for a reason to discount or disprove some of the stuff that's put before him in a supernatural sense.
Aha. Interesting. So, what sort of uh, uh, this is one over here. What sort of oh, geez, what word am I looking for? Uh, avenues. What sort of methods do you have for gaining information if you're not speaking to the beyond, as it were?
It's basically physical evidence. What he can see, what he can touch, what he can feel, what makes sense to him in a sort of academic, medical sense.
Oh,
Like, yeah, if there's anything that's he has a doctor's bag, his medical equipment, stuff he could probably test with certain like litmus paper and things like that that would make sense. Like, oh, it's this stuff is oxidized for this reason. This has happened for this reason. He's always looking for something to be like, science will explain this. This is nothing supernatural. This is a common course of there's something in the water that's making people see things. This has happened. This has happened. This has happened. Go about your business, people. It's nothing scary. It's nothing that goes bump in the night. Let's just calm down. Sort of very much that sort of attitude.
I love it. The Scully to her Mulder. I get it. Very, very cool. Excellent. The third member of our party, of course, is Ian's character, who is sorry, hang on a second. Sorry about that, everybody.
Nope.
Something wrong with my
Nobody
screen.
knows who I am.
No, I know who you are. Something happened with my screen.
Cliffhanger.
Still,
Join us next week, everybody.
We're still, okay, there it is. It looked like we stopped streaming, but we're fine. We're still here. I'm sorry. Franklin is different than these other two yet still, but you have been brought together by fate and by different methods. Ian, tell us, how does Franklin go about preparing stuff? Tell us a little bit about him, about his background, if you could.
So Franklin is, like I said before, he's a private detective. I mean, he doesn't have any like formal background with the policing or anything along those lines. This all basically started with his willing to seek out a thrill, whether it's going into something that's unknown or putting himself in a position to where information can be gathered and used. And in that, he found opportunities to help people. Whether it's bringing something to light, bringing someone to justice, or providing like an explanation of something that could not be explained, whether he believes it or not. He doesn't necessarily dabble in the occult like Bridget, and he's not fully immersed in the world realistically and scientifically like the Doc. He's more of like your Harry Dresden in this type deal. He seeks out what he can, and he puts it together as best as he can as he tries to, I don't know, at the end of the day, fulfill that need for a thrill, but then at the same time battling his own personal afflictions. Like, you can often see him fumbling around with like a silver flask that has his initials on it, but no one's ever seen him take a pull from it. He just fumbles around with it. He puts it back in his pocket, and kind of like takes his time with his speed. He's definitely the type of person to like you would find in most areas that he shouldn't be, to where questionable things about him has been rumored. But it's just more so of him being nosy. Yeah.
I love it. Three great characters. So, if we could, let's get into some dice rolling. Let's have each of you please make a learning roll, a learning test. So what we're going to do is, in Vaesen, all of your skills tests within the game are going to be combined with one of your 4 attributes in conjunction with one of your skills. You'll have a ranking in the game based upon that, which forms a dice pool of a number of d6s that you will roll. So you'll take, in this case, learning is an ability that is based upon your logic. So you're going to take your logic score and your learning score, and you're going to roll those two combined, looking for 6s on the die for a success.
One success for me.
1,
I have 2.
2, perfect.
I don't have any.
Okay, that's okay, not a problem. So, Bridget, you don't gain any new information from Grandmama from within the ball. She comes out, she does speak with you about some memories from during the time back in the day when she was still with us, but she doesn't have any insight to glean for you in this information here. But Dr. Kincaid, the town that you guys are going to is the Witch Cat Inn is in a town known as Sigtuna, which is a town that is a crossroads just north of Uppsala, where you guys are headquartered, I guess you could say. The Witch Cat Inn is at a crossroads of two main roads of travel that go through here, making it a relatively pretty common and easy place to get to. So it sees a lot of traffic. This time of year being midwinter, it is not super busy, but it still has, a fair number of people that go through. You know that you're able to find out by asking around through other people that you know that the inn is actually run by a man named Sami Harjula, who is actually the grandson of a previous member of the society before their passing a few years ago. Which, interesting coincidence. Even more so when Franklin, after you kind of hit the beat and you do your investigations the way that you do, you come to find out that some years ago, about 50 years ago, the society once used this inn as a meeting grounds of sort. About that time, there was a fire that burned down the society main headquarters, and this inn, because of its relative close proximity to the city of Uppsala, was actually where they had meetings. And there were several members of the society who would go there quite often, and then they just stopped going. They had a new place that they found for these clandestine meetings, and then a few years later they built the new headquarters, as it were. You are able to find out that the society members who used to have meetings there, one of them has the name of Oscar Hjort, which, if you recall from your note, seems to be the subject of the play The Dance of Dreams that this Olas Clint sent you all information about. So a very strange, hopefully coincidental connection there that you all are gaining all of a sudden. But no time to ruminate on that now, as it is a cold, not blustery, there's not winter snow or winter rain or anything like that, but it is still cold. The sun is out, however, as your carriage arrives at the Witch Cat Inn. As I mentioned, it is at a crossroads of two main roads that cross out through the countryside here. And as you approach, you will find that there is smoke that comes off of the lone chimney off to the side. You can see that added to the area, it looks relatively new. There are small flags and almost like pennants that are along the fence line here that seem to be advertising or calling notice to the Dance of Dreams play that we put on in the attic. Apparently someone has felt the need to rent out the attic space here to have a little theater, as it were. Not entirely strange, but yeah, that's kind of strange. But as you come up, you see that there is a lone figure who stands on the front porch type area underneath the overhang. There's some chairs nearby, and the figure steps up out of one of the chairs as the carriage approaches, looks upon the carriage, seems to be relieved that it is arriving. And as you all three start to disembark out of the carriage, you all notice this individual, this older guy. He has a beard that it looks like it was once well trimmed, but it's a little bit out of sorts right now. Either he just woke up here mid-morning, or he maybe is a little bit disarrayed with himself. He has almost like an officer's type of regalia on, but it looks also like it's been slept in or a little bit worn. You notice he has a scar down one side of his eye, and the eye that is within that one is a little cataracted and damaged. That eye doesn't move, but the other one narrows into a little bit of him being annoyed as he sees the three of you disembarking out of the carriage. He looks like he's not actually pleased to see you three after all. But what is it that you all would like to do when you approach the Witch Cat Inn?
Well, I think the first thing I would like to do as the doctor is just to see if there's anything like, do we know of anything that might seem like it could be medically related? Like, do I get a sense of anything that could be some sort of affliction, some sort of poisoning, some sort of anything like that?
In regards to what, this gentleman, or?
Yeah, or well, to whatever's been going on here. If there's anything that is there anything that's like medically coming my way?
Oh, I see. Okay. I think that would have been covered under your learning test that you had the one success on. However, because you are you're trained, you're a doctor, you might have maybe had done other avenues to investigate. Let's go ahead and have you make another roll of learning as well, just to see if there's any additional information you gathered through that.
Okay. Ooh, no successes this time.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't heard of anything strange going on in the area in terms of any medical conditions, any illnesses, any outbreaks of anything. So that always bodes well.
Hmm. Okay. And
I'm-
does this...
oh.
Go on, sorry, go on.
No, continue.
No, I was just going to say, does this guy... Do we recognize this guy? Have we come into contact with this officer guy before?
No, you have not met this guy before.
Okay.
He's just a middle-aged guy. Like I say, he doesn't look very pleased to see you guys, although he looked like he was waiting for the carriage.
Okay.
I want to kind of like, I guess in this moment, like Franklin would get out of the carriage, notice that the guy is not pleased to see us. I'm going to approach him and just talk to him.
Okay.
Just go up to him. Obviously, you were waiting for us. Yes.
I take it that you're one of the 3 from Uppsala that they were sending from the society. I am Olas Klint. I am the investigator in these parts. I'm the one who called for aid. I will say I'm not very pleased to see that they sent the 3 of you. I heard about what happened in Oslo, about that little situation with a murderer that you let run about the town for several days and he eventually escaped. I was hoping they were going to send more experienced and more capable society members.
Well,
He looks past you to the
seems
other
like
2.
everyone else was busy and we were the ones to pick up the call. Are we going to stand out here and continue to speak? Can we see the scene? What have you learned? What have you gleaned so far? And like Franklin's just moving past all of that, it's you guys thing into like, okay, whatever, guy, what's going on?
Okay. He looks at you for a moment, very stern. His good eye, makes contact with yours. He doesn't seem to back down. And then he turns. You're Dr. Kincaid, I assume, he says, holding out a hand towards you, Doctor.
Correct. I'll shake his hand.
And this must be Bridget, I believe, is the name that I've heard in the tales, but I might have that incorrect. Good day, lady, he says, nodding to you. Yes,
You have a dark aura.
I have a dark aura.
Yes.
It's just the layer of dirt around his face. Can we? Oh, also like pops back into frame. I am Franklin. Can we continue forward?
Yes, of course. Let us go inside where the wind is not as crisp to affect my knee. And he turns, and as he starts to walk back in, you notice that he has a slight limp on his one knee. It's the knee that's on the same side as his eye, so it's his left knee. But he crosses into the front door, and as he does, you see that the coachman just looks after the 3 of you, gives you all a nod, and he will snap the reins to lead the horses in the carriage out around the building to, there's a barn in the back where you can stable such things. As the 3 of you enter within, behind Olas Klint, you see that there is a table nearby the door, one of the 2 that are in the front room here, and he sits down at it, and you see that he kind of leans in a way to favor the knee. As he leans and he comes into the seat, he motions for you all to sit as well. As you take your seats, he motions, and you see that there is a larger man who is behind the bar tavern front facade here. A man who looks kind of severe himself. This guy looks like he maybe has a little bit of a bad misdemeanor. Large, white, bushy beard, balding. He has a little bit of some sporadic hair up there, but he has a very stern countenance. He gives Clint a nod, and he goes and looks over to a young woman that you see is standing off to the side. The young woman is actually, looks like she's probably in her early 30s, and she looks to him, gives a nod, and she goes behind a small door to retrieve something. The older guy just looks back to the 4 of you at the table and goes back to wiping down the counter and seems to be messing with some sort of books, doing something, writing in a ledger.
Bridget is
perhaps.
absolutely not sitting down. She's like wandering around the room.
Okay.
I'll look to Franklin at this point and be like, why does she always do this? just wanders off and tells people they've got dark auras. You just say hello.
She's got a way about things. I mean,
It's just very
never-
unsettling. It sets a really bad marker for the first time we meet people. That's all. We've already got a bad rep from the last mission, and I don't think this helps our cause.
I mean, it can't get any worse than that. Apparently, we
I suppose you're right.
murderer gallivant around the city. Yeah, no, it's
no.
worked in the past. Just
Just makes me nervous. That's all.
Is your companion restless for a reason, or is it simply just you all were in the carriage for too long? Clint says,
yes,
motioning towards
that's
Bridget.
precisely. Yeah, she is what we like to, in the medical term, it's called restless leg. So she has to get out and go around the room and stretch out and, survey. She likes to look for exits and things. So sweep the room for, good exit points. There's some reasons. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's all above board.
she has a good eye for things, so we just kind of let her do what she does.
Okay.
Someone said she has two good eyes.
So Bridget,
Was that?
Oh, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Was that? Is this? Can I just ask? I'm always curious about scars and things like that. Is that a dueling? Is that a dueling scar, or was that?
My scar upon my face is a war wound, one might say. I earned it in the Battle of the Eastern Front. Surely you are aware, being a man of science, a man of medicine, of the very heavy tolls that were taken there some years ago. But
Yes. I was out that way myself. There's a lot of things. Yes. No, I was just curious. You look a very upstanding sort of gentleman. I just wondered if it was a sword fight in the street, someone had just besmirched your honor, that sort of thing.
no, nothing like that. Just a matter of following duty.
Well,
He just looks after Bridget like he's a bit concerned. So I must ask, Bridget, are you looking about the room for anything specific, or are you just doing a general sweep? What are you trying to gather here?
Mostly just a general sweep, but if there's any, evidence that any Vaesen have been here, or, any sort of supernaturally essences in the room.
Okay.
Just trying to, cold spots, warm spots.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Let's have you make an observation roll, if we could, as you're trying to just notice some information, see what's going on in the area. Observation, of course, is going to be based upon your empathy as well. So you're going to roll empathy and observation. Do you have any sort of special talents or anything like that can give you any sort of help on this, or are you just doing a regular, natural look around the room?
I'm just gonna do a natural look around the room for now, but I have 3 successes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So as you're looking about the room, you will find that amongst the pictures on the wall, let me paint the room in a bigger, broader stroke here. As you go about the room, there are the 2 tables, as I mentioned. There is a fireplace, the one that you saw with the chimney that was exuding the smoke outside. In the center wall of the room, there is a staircase towards the back that leads up to another floor. You would guess probably where the rooms are. And you also see that there is that back door that the younger woman went through. As you're walking around, you see that along the hearth, along the fireplace, there are several pictures. Different people of various different ages, probably family pictures, you would guess by looking at them. One of the pictures you notice is missing, however. There is actually a noticeable spot on the wall where there's the soot and whatever that would come out from the fireplace has left an outline where a round ovular type shape frame would be, but it's no longer there. And as you're noticing that, you hear from behind you, and as you turn, you see that bigger guy, the barkeep guy, is looking at you, looking at that, and he just has a very stern look on his face, as if he doesn't really want you poking around at the pictures. But before you can say anything about that or anything interesting, there is a cold that you feel. Even though you're standing right next to the fireplace, looking at this picture, there is suddenly a chill that creeps through the room and crawls up your spine, raising the hair on the back of your neck. It's not Vaesen, but definitely something supernatural is afoot. And as you notice this, you see that the young woman who you saw disappear before, the one that he basically gave the nod to go get things to, she emerges from behind that door that she came out of, and now she has a tray that has several steins, a pitcher, and a plate on it that looks to have some sort of bread or rolls of some sort. She crosses, and as she crosses past you, you almost hear a faint whisper in your mind as she walks past you, as if she says something to you, but her mouth doesn't move. She crosses past you towards the table unless you do anything to stop her.
I'll follow her to the table.
Okay. She gets to the table right as Clint is finishing up a story about his encounter on the Eastern Front, where he actually was injured and had fallen into a trench within the ground, and that's what had caused the wound on his face and on his knee. And when the young woman comes up, she sets the tray down, begins putting the drinks in front of you all, sets the pitcher down. She does a double take when she notices that Bridget has come up behind her. Gives you a very timid nod, you notice, Bridget, and then she looks to all of you and then turns and starts going back towards the bar.
I want to grab her elbow as she turns and just hold her hands and see if I can sense anything coming off of her.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I think we got to roll for this. Let's have you do an observation roll again. Again, this is tied into your empathy.
2 successes.
2 successes. In her eyes, you can see that she is uncomfortable that you've grabbed her, but she's not like, it's not a fight or flight moment. She's not like trying to get away or anything. You can just see that she reacts very briefly, like maybe she's alarmed, but then she looks at you, she looks about the table, and seems to have a calm come over her. I trust that you had a very safe journey, lady. Is there something else that I can give you?
No, I don't think so.
Very good. You look like you and your companions might be those who are interested in having some entertainment for the night. She looks back to the bar, you notice, to make sure that the older guy is not overhearing what she's about to say. I have a bit of a presentation in a theater in the attic, if you'd be interested.
Entertainment is one of the reasons we are here.
Excellent. Well, if you're here with Mr. Clint, I assume that you are probably here to investigate as well, but I don't know what it is you expect to find. My father, he's run a very good tavern all this time. There's nothing amiss that I have heard or seen.
Can you tell me whose portrait has been removed from the wall?
She looks over and she realizes that you had noticed that. And I wanted you to make a manipulation roll, please. Manipulation, again, is an empathy-tied skill, so that might work out to your favor. I'm not sure.
2 more successes.
Oh, wow. We're off to a great start, everybody. She looks... Her gaze lowers. It's a picture of my mother. We lost her some years ago, and it pains my father to look upon her picture. He doesn't think that I know that, but I know. It's, we miss her terribly, but... She just looks longingly at the picture and then looks back to you. You have a way about you. I can't explain it. You remind me of her somehow. There's a certain look that you have that, like you see things that aren't really to be seen. Do you, and her hand tightens on yours. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And the man at the bar, Sophia! And she stops. And he gives a very stern look to her, like, get over here kind of look. Excuse me, she says to you and to the table. She just gives a nod, and she cuts back over across the room. And when she gets over there, you hear, we've talked about this. And he grabs her by the elbow in a little bit more forceful way, and the two of them disappear behind that door you saw her disappear behind before.
I'll take a seat at the table now.
As you sit down, Clint, he does a small, like, half stand. He probably was going to get all the way up, but his knee might be bothering him. Well, now that you've met the locals and you've got a little bit of a look around the room, maybe we can get down to business, eh? He looks at you all as if he's expecting you to... Oh.
Quite. Yeah, quite. Let's.
I
Get
hope
it
you
going.
weren't waiting for me. Don't let me stop you.
Well, I like to have everyone together. I don't like to have to repeat myself. It's, it wastes time and it wastes valuable energy.
I may not be sitting at the table, but I do listen.
Well, I've been here for several days. I have been called into I've been called into the area to look for some information. It would seem that there have been some strange occurrences here at this Witch Cat Inn for several days now. Some folks that have stayed here have said that there have been strange sightings, strange sounds in the night. I myself was willing to dismiss these as simple hearsay and people simply being away from home and the winter plays tricks on the mind. Until 2 days ago. The day that I sent the summons for the society to send help. I was in my room at the top of the stairs when I heard something that, dare I admit, chilled even me to my bones. There was a noise in the night. At first it sounded like someone walking down the hall, then another, 2 more, as if 4 individuals were secretly making their way down the hallway. I, of course, went to the door to see what was the matter, opened it, found the hallway to be empty. Now, this simply would not be typically enough to draw attention to me to make me be worried. But what I found to be more interesting after that was the fact that the sounds came again. As I stood and looked in the hall, it remained empty. These 4 sets of footprints seemed to stop in the center of the hall, and then I distinctly heard a scuffle, scraping, banging upon the floor as if a struggle had been happening, as if someone were fighting in the center of the hall. And then, silence. Again, this might not be enough to concern me. I have seen all sorts of depravity from men and strange, dark things in the front of war. But as I attempted to draw sleep that night, there was yet another sound. A man's voice from within the very room I stayed. He asked me what I was doing here, and he asked if I had come to make sure that it was done. He asked if I was ready to see the dance of dreams. The next day, nailed upon the door, I found this, and he holds up a note exactly like the one that he sent to you guys, but it doesn't have his handwriting, added to the bottom of it. It's just that part about the the presentation, we'll say. There is a hole and a rip in the top center of it, like it was nailed to the door and he just ripped it down. He slides it across the table to you, and you'll notice it's exactly identical to the one he sent you guys. It would seem that this presentation happens in the attic directly above the room in which I was staying. I inquired with the innkeep as to if I might have overheard that, and he says he knows nothing about of which I speak. It's simply a little bit of a project that he overheard that his daughter was trying to do. He looks over towards that door they disappeared at. But he says that he put a stop to it, and she has not actually done the presentation yet. So here we are. Strange voices, strange sounds. And a name that I'm sure I don't have to tell you gives me some pause. He reaches across the table and he points at the name Oscar Hjolt in the missive, in the letter. The same one you guys had noticed was a member of the society some years ago. This Oscar Holt, what do you know of him?
What do we know of him? I'm sorry.
That's fine. You guys can all make another learning test if you want, because you're all focused on this. You can do one of 2 ways. You can all kind of make a test together. If you guys want to make a collective test, you could have one of you who has kind of like the highest learning check can make that and get an assist from the others by rolling additional dice. However, if you fail that roll, you'll all fail type of situation. So there's pros and cons of doing it both ways.
Don't worry about it, you guys. I got this.
Oh, no.
I got 3 successes.
Oh, shit.
Give it to me.
Oh, okay.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So, Franklin, with the avenues that you have of an investigation, being an investigator yourself, you maybe before you guys came out here, when you heard about this Oscar Holt, you had heard that he was a member of the society that's no longer a member of the society. You know that the members of the society are all Thursday's children, those who can see the Vaesen, who have the sight. So you asked a few of the more disreputable people that you know information about why he might not be a member anymore. And what you were able to find out is that this Oscar Holt, 50 years ago, interestingly enough, right around the same time as all the meetings were happening here, apparently he was sent on a mission with the 3 other members of his society group. And according to their notes, of their field notes of the investigation, the final investigation that he had, he went crazy. He went mad. He tried to kill the other 3. And in a scuffle that ensued, he was killed by a Vaesen that had been summoned from the ether. He himself had called forth this creature, and he lost control, and it ripped him apart limb from limb. The other 3 were able to escape, because with his death, the creature retreated back into the ether.
There's stories, there's rumors, hearsay, things about this gentleman. Former society member. Unfortunately, he did lose his life on a mission. He had a certain affliction that came about him, which kind of leads me to my question. So I just want to kind of go back, and this entire time Franklin's been writing things down in his journal
Great, sure.
kind of keeping notes. So you said that you were awakened from your sleep because you heard footsteps. You went out into the hallway. You saw nothing, but then while in the hallway, you heard those steps again, as well as a scuffle. Correct?
All correct, yes.
Okay. And that's when your attention was turned to the note that you present to us here.
He takes a deep breath. You notice he's a little bit perturbed. I will repeat the story again. Those details that you asked for. I was awoken to the sound of the footsteps, indeed. And then I later was reawoken to the sound of the voice. It was a time later. These were 2 separate incidences within the same night. The letter was there upon the door after that. So 3 separate incidences, unrelated, or perhaps they are not. That is why I have asked the society to send their best for this matter. You can tell he's really trying to hold it together right now.
Yeah. I mean, and the society has. I have a question, Clint, right? The character is.
Yeah,
Clint.
this is Olas Clint. Yeah.
Oh, that's Clint. Mr. Clint, do you happen to also partake of certain things that could affect you as well? Do you have hard time sleeping at night? I mean, we are in a tavern. Do you abide or partake of the libations here excessively? Do you...
He leans forward. I don't think I appreciate your tone, Franklin.
Well,
Mr.
no,
Clint,
I think.
we. Hold
Sorry.
on, I'm sorry. Sorry, Doctor.
I was just going to say that I think what my friend here is trying to establish is at what point was this the disturbed sleep? Was this one period of sleep where at any point you may have been lucid dreaming? We're just trying to find fact from fiction here.
Doctor, I appreciate your attempt at clarifying of what I mean, but I've meant what I said to Mr. Clint. These types of things, they just don't happen. There are things that lead up to certain opportunities, and of course in this day and age there are a lot of things that we do and we enjoy that can affect our senses. I'm just trying to wean out every potential possibility. And another thing, Mr. Clint, a lot of us have scars. Some of them are not as visual as yours, and the questions we ask lead from those potential scars. so a simple answer would suffice.
I did indeed have some of the local libations, as you mentioned. However, not enough to affect my judgment. Merely enough to allow me to sleep. The pain in my leg, I still carry several bullets there. It is distressing sometimes. But no, I was not lucid dreaming. And then he looks to you, Bridget. And he just stares at you for a moment. Like he's trying to figure out something about you. But then he doesn't say anything.
I'm gonna get up
Okay.
and
Again,
start.
Brother.
I'm gonna start like picking things out of like not touching him, but just like doing this around him to try and cleanse his aura a little bit because he's very not thrilled with the situation in general. So I'm just gonna tell him you need some cleansing. You seem to be upset. We are here to help.
Mr. Clint, you also said that there were other people who have heard these things, other opportunities, and something similar to what you experienced. Are they here to speak with as well, or do you have their information to where we can contact them?
They are other people who have stayed here within the inn. They are gone. They didn't stay long enough to find out what the sounds and the scuffling was about. The same sounds, however. Sounds like people were scuffling in the night. A man's voice asking if they were ready to see the dream.
Ready to see the dream. Okay. Did any of those people that were here and they heard that, did you notice anything off about them? Maybe personal effects, interactions?
I only spoke with one of them, to be honest, a young man who is from a wealthier family, so I cannot displace his name here, but he is the one who did pay me to look into this, for it would seem that he was here on what they call a stag's run, a last little bit of a goodbye to his single days before he was married off to secure some family fortunes. And, well, let's just say he wasn't entirely rested because of what he saw and what he heard. But
Do you host those parties often here?
I didn't say I hosted the party. I wasn't here for the party. Doctor, please. As a man of logic, as a man of reason, I can tell that you are a bit less interested in poking at people, unless it's necessary. So, do you have questions that might be more directly answer? Can she please stop? He says, finally reacting to the fact you've been poking and pulling at the air around him.
Just
I mean,
busted
this
out
is-
some Reiki.
So that. No, I mean, we have our different methods of trying to figure out what goes on in these instances. You know, my friend here is a very good investigator, probably one of the best in the business. He has a very good line of questioning. So, I mean, as soon as you answer his questions and he's satisfied, that is all you need to do, sir. That's all you need to do. And my other friend here is just making sure your aura is okay.
He's full on giving him the Samuel L. Jackson. He's just like,
All right.
What do you know?
Yes, of course. Of course. Forgive me. And his hand looks like it quivers just slightly as he touches his brow for a moment, takes a deep breath. Forgive me. I am out of sorts because of the event still. I haven't slept very well in the 2 days since, so I apologize if I have been unruly myself. As you said, you are here to help, and the society deemed it appropriate to send all of you, and I will abide by that. I hope that we're able to get to the bottom of things in a more timely fashion than of the past that precedes all of you that I have heard about.
Mr.
Can I
Clint,
make
would
an
you be-
inspiration roll to see if my aura cleansing has
Oh.
removed some of the storm
You know
cloud
what?
above his head?
Let's do it. Yeah, go ahead. Roll it up.
Is there a way that I can help with that by like pouring him a drink?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So what we'll do
Try to
is,
like
yeah,
soothe him.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So we'll go ahead and we'll have Deb, you go ahead and roll your typical roll, inspiration, empathy, and we're gonna have Ian. You go ahead and just roll one die just to see if it's a success or not to assist in that.
I did get one success.
Okay,
But that is 2 successes
Okay.
now because I got a success.
that's great. That's great.
I'm killing it over here.
I love it. I love it. We'll just wait till later when there's a combat, and then you guys will all roll nothing. It'll be great. No, I'm just
No.
that's how it works.
Watch me curve this bully, you guys.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So, you do see that he is seemed to be calmed by the fact that he realized he was acting out of sorts. The fact that whatever it was you were doing, the pulling the bad mojo away from him. We'll say that as you cross over to the table, Dr. Kincaid, you'll notice as Bridget crosses back around to her seat and sits down, you see that she seems to have what almost looks like cotton balls in her hand, like black cotton balls. You're not sure where she put them, but she kind of just lowers her hands for a minute, and then they're not there. Puts them back in a purse, maybe. You didn't notice that she put them back in a handbag, but
I sort of look at them, look at her, look at them again, like, what? Where did they? What? That doesn't make any sense. Like, to me, he assumes it. Did you just like pick lint off his clothes or
Right.
something, or?
well, that's why I
Like, was
described
there
it as such, because you are a
Yeah,
man
yeah,
who doesn't
yeah.
believe in this stuff. But Bridget,
No,
you know,
he's like-
you did in fact pull some of this dark essence away and removed it. So he
Been
does
loose
seem to be
thread on
more
his coat or
relaxed.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, what else can I tell you? What else do you need for your investigations?
I personally would like to go see the area in which the phenomenon happened.
Yes, that's a good opportunity to sort of assess the area.
Of course, of course. I can take you up to the room as well. As you can see, we're really the only ones here right now. So, and he looks up to see, at this point, the man and the young woman have come back from out of the back room. She looks like she's upset, but she's not saying or doing anything about it. He just looks stern again. He goes back to working in the leisure that he was working on. He does a couple looks to see. Go on.
And taking a temperature at the table, and you can 100% stop me when I ask this. When they come back, does she seem... she's upset, but does she seem harmed?
Oh, sure. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary in terms of like, I mean, you could tell her face is a little flushed, but looking a little bit closer, you could see it's because there's tears in her eyes. She probably wiped her face away. She hasn't been harmed or anything like that. Nothing that's really, really drastic like that, luckily. But you do see that he looks like he's red as well, but his is definitely anger driven. He like I said, he's actually writing in the ledger harder. There's more of like a scraping sound of the quill as it's going across the pages. He looks up and he sees you looking and just kind of goes back. You know, just he's trying to cover up whatever's going on. He seems uncomfortable.
Okay. Put that in my back pocket.
So the three of you follow Clint across the room, and you go up to the stairs in the back. You go up, and it's a short flight of stairs. It just goes up and turns once to the top floor. You get to
Can I do something before
Of
we
course.
go upstairs?
Yeah, please.
The young woman's name is Sophia.
It is. Yep.
Sophia, would you mind joining us upstairs?
And the man standing there goes, is there a problem? Is there something that I can help you with? I'm the proprietor of this establishment. Is there something I can aid you with?
I don't want to impose. You seem very busy. I would like your daughter to come and show us upstairs.
I see. All right then. Yes. Need the beds turned down and that sort of thing. Yes, of course. And he looks, Sophia, and he motions like really sternly, like, why aren't you moving already? Even though she clearly was waiting to see if he said it was okay for her to help. She comes out from around
As soon as
yeah.
she goes upstairs, I'm going to wait for her to start going up the stairs, and I will just look him dead in the eyes.
Okay.
Your daughter will live from now on free of fear. If she does not, Your house will be cursed.
What is
And I will turn around and go up the stairs.
Okay. Let's have you make a manipulation roll to try to intimidate this guy a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and give you a bonus die for this because of a situational circumstance that's going on right now.
3 successes.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, you see
Wow.
that he's been very stern this whole time. He's been very much quick to anger. But in your words, you see all of the color. I mean, and he was beet red. All of the color drains away from his face. He actually takes a step back from the bar front and looks at you. Lowers his gaze very sheepishly. You can tell this man has been cowed, and you can tell by the way he's acting, this is probably not something that happens to this guy ever. So, yeah, you've made a difference here.
Definitely want to lean over to Bridget, like as we're walking up the stairs, and go, impressive.
So, Bridget, I'm going to go ahead and give you an advantage. What this is during the course of the game, now you will have a time where you'll be able to add a +2 to your roll. Because
Great.
that was a pretty powerful display of, standing your ground. I love it. Sophia makes her way up the stairs first, followed by Clint, and then the rest of you. So, Bridget, I would assume you would go up last because of your interaction. As you walk into the top of the stairs, it is a short hallway. You see that there are 4 doors here. There is the one that's right at the top of the stairs. It has it has a number on it, just kind of scratched into the door, not like an actual plate or something attached to the door, just a 1. There's a 2, and then the other 2 don't have numbers on them. The one that is behind you guys directly would be like, if you're going around, it would be like number 4. You can see there is a very heavy lock on the door, so you can't get into it. And then the other one that would be number 3. So 1 and 2 are at the top of the stairs where you guys would go. They say 1 and 2 on them. 3 would be like across from where 2 is. It's just a regular door, nothing out of the ordinary. But this 4, which is across 1, it's behind the stairs, I guess you could say. It has a lock on it. Let me actually do this. Let me give you guys, I'll make this big first so we can see what's going on. So you see at the top of the stairs, this actually has a few more rooms, but you'll see like as you come up, there's the rooms. Oh, this has stuff labeled. We don't want that. But anyway, we don't want spoilers, y'all. We'll make it little. But yeah, you'll see there's Ian's like, what? I want spoilers.
I was full in.
I saw everything.
I saw it all. I'm going here now. But no, it's just it's a slightly different layout. But it's the same size floor as below with these 4 rooms. It's a little bit smaller for our purposes today. But anyway, the Witch Cat Inn. So he goes over to room number 1. He takes a key out of his pocket and he unlocks it. Oh, I'm sorry. Sophia's first. Sophia crosses over to the door. She takes a small little key ring out of her apron, unlocks the door, and opens it. And then she stands back so that the 4 of you can enter into the room. She waits for you to go last. Bridget.
Before we
go ahead. Yep.
before we enter the room, so we're on the floor. We're in the hallway to where
Yes.
this happened. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Clint, can you stand where your room was, please?
Of course. He steps forward and he stands in the open door that she just opened, and he stands. He turns around so he's facing all of you. The sound that I heard was there, and as he points across the hallway, he actually points to exactly where Dr. Kincaid is standing, right in the center of the hallway. And you're standing at the top of it. It's not very long. The entire hallway is maybe 20 feet long. It's not a very big building. But he points to the center. So between where Dr. Kincaid is standing and now where you are standing, Franklin, it's not that far of a distance to the top of the stairs.
Okay. And now before Kev, like when you were talking about the situation that happened, you said that he heard footsteps, but then this could have been just a misspoken opportunity here.
That's
You
right.
also said he saw footprints.
Yeah, he heard what sounded like one person walk across the floor, and then another person, and then 2 other people
Right.
come up quickly with the third person. That was the second person.
So he didn't. So
he
he
didn't
didn't
see
see
footprints. No, but
Okay.
he heard
He just
he
heard
heard footfalls.
stuff.
Yeah, I probably just said that incorrectly. Yeah,
That's fine.
he heard the footfalls of 4 people have a scuffle out here, basically.
And so from where we're standing, where we're standing at his room, he's out, he's looking. the area that he saw, or I'm sorry, that he heard was the area that you pointed out that we're not that far away from, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty much right in the center of the room. I'm sorry, center of
And
the hall. Yep.
and is that the door with the heavy lock?
Yeah, it'd be the door with the heavy lock would be. Imagine like the stairs come up into the center. It's like an H, I guess you could say, and it'd be a room on
Mhm.
all points of the H.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the four would be on the bottom across from the door number one.
I want to go over to that area and kind of like it's gonna be weird, but like kind of like bounce my feet a little bit, checking for major squeaky
Oh, sure.
floorboards, seeing if there's any light areas. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Tapping on the door, just pretty much doing that. See if
Yeah.
I can notice something that could refute anything that he was telling us.
Absolutely. So while you're investigating that, what are the other two of you doing?
Can I help with that and do the same sort of thing and like up further down the corridor to see if there's same sort of thing further up? So because he said it sounded like someone was walking down and someone was walking up. Is that right?
Yeah.
So if I
Like
go
people came
test
from
the other
separate
side,
sides of the hallway. Yeah.
yeah. So if I test the further up in the corridor to see if that sounds similar as well.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll help. With the investigation.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, so go ahead and roll. This would be observation rolls. Are you doing anything, Bridget, while they're making those checks?
I think I'm gonna just stand and observe them and also both Sophia and Clint and just see if I can glean anything from everyone's demeanor.
Of course. So Clint stands in the doorway. He's just watching all of you. He's actually got his hands down at his side. He looks very, very erect, very soldier-like, I guess you could say, even though he is slightly leaning on his one knee to take pressure off of the other. It's something that you only would notice because he pointed out the fact that his knee is hurt. Sophia is standing off to the side of the door, just looking at all of you, looking around, looking like she doesn't really quite know what's going on. But she keeps looking at you almost like she's concerned for you because she knows that she heard that you were confronting, but she didn't hear what happened. So she looks a little concerned. She's trying to kind of get a gauge of what happened with that. Gentlemen, what did you get on your rolls?
One success.
One success?
One success.
Total between
Two.
two total or three?
I
Three
got one.
total.
Three
Three
total.
total.
Three total. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, as you are all looking about the room and the floor, we'll come back to you in just a second, Bridget, here. You guys are walking around. There's nothing that is atypical. I mean, there's some floorboards squeaking and things like that. Nothing that would make the sound of an actual, like, footfall if you move across it. But what you do find that's very interesting is right around that center area where he said he heard the scuffle happen, there seems to be a wear in the floor. Like the floorboards here look like they're kind of scuffed, and this is older. This doesn't look like something that just happened. This looks like something that probably has happened some time ago because it's worn. It's not fresh, and there is a slight discoloration to the wood as well. I will say with the number of successes that you had, with the fact that Franklin, you are an investigator, you've seen some stuff, and because you are a doctor, you would notice the discoloration of the room, of the floor, is from blood was once there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Dried blood.
Doc, can you? Well, so we can confirm just with our vision that it was potentially it's dried blood. We don't have to get deeper into it. Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, 3 successes is pretty good, so.
Yeah. I'll just point out like here and just here. Blood.
Mr. Clint, why is that door so heavily locked as compared to your door and the other ones?
I wouldn't know. He looks to Sophia. Could you perhaps shed some light on the information? She looks at you all. That's it's my mother's room, where she used to. And she looks at you, Bridget, where she used to sit and see things and think and ponder about the day. She'd get headaches, and she would go in there and she'd maybe, think about stuff and try to calm herself until the sights went away. She called it.
Mr. Clint, how's your leg at this moment? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay.
You need me to. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, do you need me to check it over for you?
I don't think that's necessary right this moment. But thank you.
So we, of course, we have certain methods that, of course, the society allows us to do. If I could, please, we don't need you standing here with us as long. Miss Sophia is more than enough to guide us as best as she can. If you could allow us to our druthers.
Very well. I will, I'll await you downstairs. The room is yours, he says, motioning to the room. And you can see, by the way the interior of this room looks, that it hasn't been used. So it's like, wherever what you would gather is, since his incident, he has not been in this room. So he crosses past you all and begins to go downstairs. Bridget, is there anything you're doing during all this interaction that they've had?
I am going to go over to Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the key for your mother's room?
Yes, I do, but I'm not supposed to go in there, and it's been locked up since we lost her. And but yes, I do. I do have it.
I will not ask you to go in if you do not feel you want to. May I borrow the key?
Her eyes dart to the stairwell. Like, you can tell she's looking. She can't see downstairs from the angle, but you can tell she's looking in that direction. I'll need you to make a manipulation roll, please. Try to convince her to do this. She said her mother's been gone for some time, so it's probably been a long, ingrained habit of not being allowed to go in here. So this is some deeply rooted stuff. Did you have something, Dr. Kincaid?
I was just going to ask, like, did you want to explain, like, what her mother, like, what was the affliction she had that she may have died of? Is there anything I can get from that, from like maybe a medicine roll or something? If she wants to share, of course, she doesn't have to. If she doesn't, might be too, hurtful or whatever. But if she's able to speak about it, then I'd like to make a roll in it if possible.
I think you misunderstood. My mother's not dead. We lost her.
What, you mean she's missing?
She looks back to the stairwell again. She disappeared.
In what manner did she?
Like, she was
just
here and then she's not here anymore.
What, did she just get up and walk out in the night, or?
Was she acting strange before this disappearance, or? You know what? I'm very sorry. We're bombarding you with a lot of questions.
She looks back to you, Bridget. Bridget, what did you get on that manipulation roll?
I failed,
Okay.
so I'm going to push the
I
roll.
was just going to say, you can push the roll. In Vaesen, what anybody can do as a player is, if you fail a roll, you can take a condition, which is something that will affect you going forward, some strain, either physically or mentally, to try to roll again. You roll all the same number of dice. There's no penalty to that now because you're just gaining the condition. So if you look on your character sheet, you'll see that there are 4 mental conditions that are listed. You just take one of them. This would kind of just be narratively how you feel it's going to go. You don't take broken. That would be like you're unable to move. So basically, you get a little bit angry or frightened or hopeless in this situation based on how this is kind of playing out. So kind of what sort of feelings kind of come upon you as you try to push yourself through them?
I think hearing her talk about her mother's disappearance, I feel all of the complicated family dynamics and remember my own complicated family dynamics. And just, I think this little wave of hopelessness in solidarity with her sort of washes over me.
Okay, for sure. So you will mark that hopeless condition on your mental conditions little area here. So what will happen is when you do additional mental-based skills, you'll take a -1 die step penalty from that condition until it is relieved, which can be done through medical means or means of talking with your companions, interacting with a memento, or maybe even supernatural effects too could sometimes do that as well. So we'll keep that in mind. So you go ahead, you re-roll. Did you? What did you get on your re-roll?
I got 2 successes on my
Okay.
reroll.
She looks at you all, asking her these questions, and then she looks at you, Bridget, and she leans forward. She hands you that key ring that she opened Clint's door with. As he finishes, he's finishing, like, you can hear he gets to the floor below, and he's crossing back over to the table by the front door. She says, you can, you can look for yourself. And she looks at the door, and I don't want to go in there. But you
I
can look.
understand.
Do you need any other help?
Perhaps you can stay with these gentlemen while I take a look.
Okay. Are you? And she actually puts her hand out and she grabs a hold of your elbow the same way you grabbed a hold of hers. It's very timid. It's a very light touch. Are you going to see my presentation tonight? My father won't allow me to do it, but I feel emboldened because you're here. I want to show you what I've written.
If you would like me to, I will. Yes.
And she takes a step back between Franklin and the doctor. Just steps back, but looks at the two of you sheepishly. And Bridget.
I gave her a smile.
Okay.
It was like,
Yeah.
Reassuring smile. Sure.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
Okay. So, we've got two different rooms. Clint's is open. We would seem that there's the really heavy lock on the other side that she did give you a key to. Are you guys splitting up to investigate? Are you guys investigating one or the other? How are you guys going about this?
I think maybe splitting up and allowing Bridget to do her thing in the mom's room would be best.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And then-
agree.
Yeah, and then we can go into Mr. Clint's room because, like you had said, we noticed that it's been untouched for a while. Like, and so kind of want to see what that's about.
Okay. Perfect. So, let's do this. Let's go ahead. Let's start with Bridget. Bridget, you cross over to the room, and it's not very hard to. There's a couple of keys on the key ring. It's not a bunch of keys, so you're able to unlock it no problem. And after a bit, you actually open the door. When you open the door, it creaks on its hinges. It's been closed for some time, you can tell. And as it opens, there is that feeling that there is when you. The way I'll describe it is when you unearth something, there's that little bit of a shift in the air pressure almost, even though this is just a room. And as it opens, you can see within, it's kind of darkly lit. There is a bed off to the one side, a couple of chests, and it would seem that the room in here has not been touched either. But unlike Mr. Clint's room, this room is got dust and cobwebs all over the place because people are not in there all that much. You wish to go in, or you are going to do something else first?
Yes, I do wish to go in.
Okay. You step within the room, and as you step into the room, even without any sort of trying to investigate or feel it or see it, it's colder in here, much colder than it is in the rest of the place you've been in so far. You see that there is a slight ripple on the the bedspread, like there is a draft somewhere. You look about the room, you don't see anything. There's not a window open or anything like that, but nonetheless, you can see that there is this slight ripple in here. There's a small writing desk off to the side with a stool. There's some pictures on the walls and things of that. Looks like paintings of a little girl, a man and a woman. And you can see that they definitely resemble younger versions of Sophia and her father, and you're guessing to be the mother, the woman in the pictures. What do you do?
I am going to cross to the center of the room and pull out my crystal ball and use my talent as a medium to perform a seance.
Okay. All right.
Going full haunted mansion. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Indeed. So, if you could describe to me, because this would be like a ritual, this would be something intense, kind of have different steps to it. How do you go about it? Like, what does this look like for us? I mean, how do you set this up? What sort of ritual processes and standards do you have for this? Like, how does this look for us?
I will set my crystal ball kind of in the middle of the room, and then I keep little pieces of chalk on me. So I'm going to chalk a circle around the crystal ball and just sort of look to each of the corners of the room and invoke the spirit of the woman who has disappeared and see if I can talk to her.
Okay. Okay. I love it. So, as you're starting to do all this, you're starting to set things up. I'm going to need you to go ahead and do two things. First off, if you could, I would like for you to make an observation roll. And I am going to get my dice ready.
What? No
Four
one said you grew up in a roll.
successes.
I know, you're not allowed to roll.
What does this mean?
Oh, hang on a second. There we go.
The walls begin to ooze green slime.
Dad, make a death
Reality.
save. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Yeah, reality ends.
So, after you roll your observation roll, which is observation empathy, how many successes do you get?
I got 4 successes.
Holy smokes. Okay.
On fire.
As you start setting everything up and the crystal ball is there, you finish the chalk outline, you begin to think about things, you hear a familiar presence come forward. It sounds like someone on very dainty feet walks across the room to stand up behind you. Imagine this were a movie. The camera would slowly pan away to see that there was an elderly woman standing behind you, and as you finish something, she puts a hand out. You see it right on next to your face. She puts out one finger as if to say, "Hold on just a moment." You look up, you see your grandmama standing there. And she looks about the room. "Do you hear him? Do you feel him? He's very angry." "But you're safe for now." "Oh, yes. Go ahead." She motions for you to continue with the seance. But first, let's cut across back to the hallway. Gentlemen, in Clint's room, you come back in. It's very different. There is a window in here. The shutters are open, so there's lots of light coming in through here. It's very much a different feel. There's not cobwebs and everything over what's going on. Everything in here just seems to be basically that there is it hasn't been used in the 2 days since he left it. You can see there actually is a trunk of some sort at the edge of the bed, probably his, that's open, has some clothes, men's clothes within. A pistol, you notice, has a spot where it would be resting. It's not there, but you do notice that there would be a spot for a pistol within this case. But what do you guys want to look for in the room? Is there anything specifically you guys are trying to investigate here?
I think I'm looking for anything like blood or any signs of, if there's blood out there, could it have been tracked into here? Could there be any sort of signs of hair or anything like that may have been, if there was a scuffle, did it go in it? Did it somehow end up in here? Was there anything forensically that might be in here?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and make a observation roll, if you could. And then Franklin, what are you doing? What are you looking for?
I want to look for personal effects, journals, notes, anything along those lines, something very personal to Mr. Clint that he may keep. Being that he's a soldier and he's a war veteran, he has to have something. Whether it's especially someone that's been through a traumatic experience during war, one of the best things that they can do is, as they recount what's going on, writing it down, right? Putting a physical measure to that memory, something like that.
Gotcha. Absolutely. So let's have you go ahead and make a learning roll. Actually, you're trying to, or investigation. I suppose you could do investigation too, whichever would be better for you.
Better. Yeah, we'll do investigation. I also want to use one of my talents where it's called focus
Okay.
to where while investigating any potential penalties that are associated, they are ignored.
Okay, okay. So what that would do would be like a penalty for your condition or a penalty because there's some sort of effect or whatnot going on here would be covered up. So actually, that will, I won't tell you specifically how or why, but that does actually come into play right now. So um, on your check, you would have gotten a -1 to your die because of something that happened here, but that's not longer the case. So you go and roll your full either learning or investigation. Um, and
And with
yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
no good.
And with that, I'm going to use my magnifying glass too that I have on me
Okay.
that allows me a +1 die.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep. So yeah, you're gonna roll. You're rolling an investigation check.
Hmm.
Okay, so you're gonna roll investigation logic with an extra die because of the magnifying glass. And then, Doctor, what did you get for your roll? Your learning roll?
I got no successes,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Do you wish to push, or you just want to take that as a no?
Yes, actually, yes, I will. I will push
Okay.
it.
Okay, so again, you're gonna take a mental condition, but be able to push the roll again and re-roll using all the same dice.
Okay. One success this time.
Okay, that's fine. One is usually enough unless it's something super drastic. As the two of you are looking about the room, Doc, you're going to start looking around, and as you're looking around, you don't really see anything at first. You're looking, and there's nothing here. The room has been very clean. It just looks like that it just hasn't had any activity. It doesn't look like there's anything that's been, like, cleaned or scrubbed or anything like that. But nothing jumps out at you until you see Franklin looking about, and Franklin, you notice something under the bed, under the mattress to be exact. Something that is slightly got the mattress off kilter. And you reach forward. Well, I don't want to put actions into your mouth. Do you investigate that further? I assuming with your 2 successes you do, but
Oh, I didn't get 2
oh,
successes.
you didn't get. What did you get? I'm sorry.
I got 5 successes.
Oh, 5 successes. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I got that was a 7 dice roll.
Nice.
Jeez.
I don't know. I don't know where I heard the 2 at. 5 is astronomical. This is like you're like, yeah.
I'm on it.
Yeah, you just went Super Saiyan for a second. So you I'll be a little more direct and give you a little more information. So you find underneath the bed there's a little bit of a bulge, and you can see that there is the very corner of a spine of a book, a journal as it were, that's sticking out from beneath the mattress and the mattress below it. And you pull it out, and what you see is that it actually has on the front, it looks like a symbol that's been put upon the front of this journal. Stands out to you. It is the symbol of the society, which is almost like a stylized circle with like an eye, like a line through it. And definitely this wouldn't belong to Clint because he's not a member of the society. So you recognize it as that's what it is. It's a field journal, one that would keep notes for an investigation if they were part of the society. And as you pull it out and you begin to open it, you see that it's actually kind of stiff and harder to open, almost like it's been sealed somehow. And you look around the edge of it and you can see that the entire edges of the paper are just stuck shut with dried, caked blood.
Doctor, can you come over here and look? I think I may have found something interesting.
Okay, sure. And I'll look at the book and be like, oh, good God.
Yeah. Doctor, as you step forward, because you did push, you got that 1 success, you are going to see that there is, where he pulled the book out of, there seems to be something that jumps out at you medically now, especially because of the blood you look. You can see that in between where those 2 things were, where he pulled the book from, is more blood. This is strange. These people clearly would clean the rooms. I mean, what's going on here? This is like fresh, though. Like this just happened. Like it's almost like wet when you put your hand in there and begin to pull your hand back and see what's going on.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Do I get an idea of how many days old? Is this like hours or days? Are we talking?
It's like someone literally just bled all over the mattress. Like just
Oh,
now.
Jesus. Right.
Doctor, our friend. Oh, hey, shout out for the raid. Heck yeah.
Raid! Yeah, cool. Thanks for raiding, everybody. I don't have that window open right now. Yeah, thank you for raiding. It's always good to have new friends. We are playing some Vaesen. We have 3 investigators here who have arrived at the Witch Cat Inn to try to find out what sort of strange occurrences are going there. An investigator has heard some strange sounds in the night, and there seems to be some sort of thing going on with a previous member of their group has gone missing. He went crazy. He tried to kill some people here. And also there's a missing innkeeper's wife. It's very strange. Is it all connected? Time will tell. But what was I saying?
Doc.
Yeah, Doctor. Go ahead. Yeah.
Doc, I wasn't forthcoming with the information downstairs when we were speaking to Mr. Clint, but our friend here, from the letter that we received, they did die, but before they did so, they went mad. And while on a mission with their infliction of being so, they were killed by a Vaesen. There's
Come
no
on now.
reason. Well, this is what the information the society has provided. This is what we know.
Okay.
There's no reason for somebody who is not directly within the society to have something like this. This was taking off of someone. And from the looks of it, this has been here for a while. But that, pointing at the blood,
Is
fairly new.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's Sophia in the room?
Is she out in the hallway still?
She's standing out in the hallway. Yeah, she hasn't come into the room.
Right.
And when she sees that you have this bloody book in your hand, she lets out a blood-curdling scream.
Oh,
that-
no. I'm keeping it tucked. Like, our
Oh,
backs
okay.
are to the
Yeah, we're
door.
trying to
Okay.
keep it huddled.
Yeah,
Trying to
Then
keep it.
never mind. Yeah, so she doesn't seem to notice that. But she's standing in the hall, looking around. She's kind of standing half in, half out of the doorway. I'm not sure what all I can do here, but
I hand Doc the book to put in his bag. I turn around, just me, and I go over to Sophia and I go, how long has it been since your mother's been away?
it's been. Well, I was just a girl. I was 16, so it's been about 10 years.
And was Mr. Clint around for that time?
Oh no. He came at the request of the young man who had stayed in this room.
Who was the young man that stayed in this room?
Some sort of nobleman's son. I don't actually remember his name. My father wouldn't let me talk to him because he was so handsome, and he was worried that he might. He was worried he might take me away, but I'm not someone that handsome men try to take away. So I'm not sure why my father thought that, but anyway, I don't remember. Hivlost or Hivstrom or something like that. I don't remember what his last name was exactly, but he only stayed here for just a couple of hours. He was here with some friends, and he went into the room to get ready for some party that they were going to have nearby, and he left in quite a hurry.
And that name, even though she may have like mispronounced it, it rings a bell because it's the name in the letter.
Similar, for sure.
Okay. One question, Miss Sophia, and then, of course, if you feel as though it would be better off that you're in another area, that's fine. Your father, was he a loving man to your mother?
Oh yes, of course. My father loved my mother dearly.
Insight check, or whatever the version of that is here in Vaesen.
Sure.
Would that be something like observation? Would it? Like
Yes, that's
body
an
language or something?
It's an
Yeah.
observation roll. Yes. Go ahead, make an observation.
Body language, because this sounds like bullshit.
Observation and empathy.
Yes.
Boom. Okay. Two successes.
I'm sorry, how many?
Two.
2. Okay. You could definitely tell that he was, but there's more to it than that. But she's not
Miss-
giving up enough to elaborate as to what exactly is going on with that.
Miss Sophia, I feel as though that although we were summoned here to figure out what these strange sounds are. There's a bigger picture here. I personally feel as though it would be in my best interest to figure out what happened to your mother as well. So any truths that you can provide to me will help us all.
You're right. I understand. She I told your friend, Bridget, that my mother used to see things sometimes. And she looks back to the stairs again. Sometimes I would see things too, and we would sit in her room and talk about the things that we saw. And well, there was a man who would be here sometimes. We'd see him walking the floor. She points to the hallway. And he was always looking for someone, for some other people. And he would walk up and down the hall calling their names, trying to find them, like he was lost, like he was trying to find some friends. And, well, I don't know. It just got to my mother after a while, and she was worried about us staying here for too long. And I don't know. There was something about how there was places we could go. There were some people we could talk to that would help us. And that's when I started having the dream. And my mother could talk to me about the dream, or could maybe even tell me ways to make the dream kind of go away for a little bit. But she's been gone for a long time now, so the dream it stays. I remember it. And do you want to see the dream? The dance of dreams.
Yes, I do. And like this is Franklin playing into like his motivation, and it's also playing into his trauma, because again, his motivation being a thrill seeker, that sparks that, but his trauma is that he does have like feverish nightmares.
All right. She gets a smile on her face. I'll show you. Bridget wanted to see too. I'll show you tonight after the sun goes down. It's better when it's dark. The attic, it just looks better. Meanwhile, across the hall in the other room, let's cut back over to Bridget. Bridget, in this moment, you are going into the seance and beginning to kind of get in a feel of what's going on, reaching out to try to get some information about the mother and what's happened here. So, if you could, I'd like you to please make a roll for me. I'd like you to go ahead and make, this can be your choice, how you wish to do this. You can either make an observation roll, or you can make a learning roll if you're trying to see information. Like, for example, you're trying to find a physical sign of something, or if you're trying to learn something, like you're trying to gather information out of more metaphysical terms, like more of a sense that way. So how are you approaching this?
I am going to make an observation roll.
Okay. So if you could, go ahead and make an observation roll. You will get a bonus because of your crystal ball, correct? Okay.
That's good because I failed the first time, so with the crystal ball, I have one success.
Okay. And you start to feel out into the room, and as you do, you feel that there is a cold that kind of comes through the room again. The same one that rippled across the bed. It comes through. It creeps across the back of your neck, and then there is a warmth that comes up behind it as Grandmama steadies herself against it. She stands up a little bit straighter, looks about the room like she's keeping watch for you, and the breeze blows across that bedspread again, and as it does, you see that there is something that shifts with the breeze across a small little table next to the bed. And as it does, there's a small little stack of books over here, and one of them, because of the breeze, falls down out of the other books, like it was just off kilter slightly, hits the floor, and a couple of pages flap through, and you can see handwritten words within.
I don't break the seance yet. I will maintain that for now. And before I finish with this, I do want to pull my memento out and get rid of my condition.
Okay.
So I reach into like a side pouch and I pull out this little jar, and it's got some weird 4.5-legged animal with horns, and it looks real odd, and I just am gonna focus on it while I'm still in the circle.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you take some time going through that, doing the investigation, taking some moments to calm yourself, and yeah, you can heal away that mental stress that you've taken and try to get that going back for you. As the book is on the floor, a couple of the pages turn, and in that breeze, and then all of a sudden the pages stop, and they flatten out as if someone's put a hand across them to flatten them out. And as you look up, your grandmother's hand lowers down to your shoulder, and you, almost as if she has physical form, feel her hand rest on your shoulder, and her hand tightens slightly. You should leave now, child. As she looks, and as you look to where the book is, you can see that there is now a figure who starts to materialize out of the shadow looking over the book. A man, very nicely dressed, and he's knelt down looking at the book. And as he reaches forward to turn a page, you can see his hand is a skeletal hand that grabs a hold of the book and slowly starts to turn the page. You see he's got brownish hair, and as he looks down at the book for a moment, he slowly starts to look up towards you, starts to raise his head, and as he does, the skin and the hair begin to melt and pull away to reveal a skeletal face. His eyes meet yours. You cut me up, and now you're here. And he slaps his hand on the book and flings it behind him, and as he starts to sprint through the room straight at you, I need you to make a force roll for me, please.
Yeah, Dib, use the force.
It's a real good thing I decided to get rid of that condition.
Force is a physique-based roll, so you're going to roll your force and physique. If you don't have any sort of ranking in something, you still roll your attribute always. So.
I failed.
Okay.
So I'm gonna push it,
Okay.
and I think using the spirit of my grandmother who's still there, I have a pouch of salt, and I throw the pouch. I pull out some salt and throw it this man's direction and dodge out of the way. But the effort of doing so is gonna cause me to be exhausted.
Okay.
That works?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so you push that, by the way. You can still roll to see. When you do push a roll, you do get a success. I don't know if I said that before. So you are going to get the one to get out of the way, but you can roll to see if you get more if you'd like to.
I did get another success.
Okay. So yeah, so you dive out of the way, getting exhausted in the meanwhile, as he slams through the center of your summoning seance type circle, hits the crystal ball, and it falls out of place and boom, 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 rolls across the floor. The circle gets broken. That presence in the area that you were reaching out through suddenly dissipates and snaps across the room. He goes through, and as he does, you see him stop. He cocks his head and he turns back towards you, and he narrows his gaze. I will have my vengeance. And he jumps, and as he sprints towards you again, Grandmama stands between the two of you, and as he hits into her, they both just disappear. In the other room, where the two of you gentlemen stand, there is suddenly blood that begins to pour down out of the ceiling, slowly dripping down the walls. Sophia looks up. Oh no. And she starts to back up into the hall, and as she does, she hits the railing and stops there for a minute, just panic-stricken. As the blood streaks down the wall, you see that there starts to be a form into the bed. Looks like a man is starting to appear in the bed. He reaches forward, he puts a hand to his chest, and as he pulls his hand away, fresh blood and long tendrils pulls away. He reaches forward. You cut me up, and now you are here. Pavi, you will die for this! And he reaches forward towards you, Dr. Kincaid, and we're going to take a break for a moment, everybody. So, step back out of the narrative for a second. Everybody, I hope we're having fun playing some Vaesen.
Yeah.
It's about to get real. So yeah, let's all take a break for a moment. We're just going to step away, take a 5-minute break, let us all catch our breath, get ready for some sort of confrontation that's about to happen. So please, everybody, join us when we return. Take a 5-minute break. We'll be right back. Thank you so very much. And welcome back. Here we are for second half of Vaesen. Today we get to play. Vaesen, of course, is a game by Free League Publishing, so you can get your own copy out there at their website. It's a great game. We've been having some fun. And if you're just joining us, thank you. Welcome. We're playing Vaesen, which is a game of Nordic horror. It's set in a fictional alternate Scandinavia in the 1800s. And our characters here are investigators for the society, folks who have the sight so they can see the Vaesen, which are strange creatures and perhaps even spirits from beyond. Right now they're investigating the Witch Cat Inn, which is an inn that is having some strange occurrences, and there is now some sort of strange spirit that is attacking them. So pretty scary business at that. So let's pick up right where we left off. In the room, Clint's room to be exact, you guys are suddenly having all kinds of issues. There is a man who has appeared in the bed. He's reaching out towards you, specifically Dr. Kincaid. He called you Pavi, not your name. You're not sure what that's all about, but he is reaching towards you, and I think it's imperative and important at this point to let's get some initiative going, shall we? Now, I
Sure.
should have had these down in front of me. 1 second. Oh, I almost knocked the whole thing over. Well, we're going to use cards because that's kind of how the Vaesen system is. There's going to be cards 1 through 10. So you guys typically would just like draw cards all together, but because we're not really sharing a table together, I'll just do it this way. So 1 through 10, I got to get going. These aren't all the same suit, it looks like, but you know what? Because I'm cheating. I'm not using actual Vaesen initiative cards. They do have them. I'm using actual playing cards because that's what I have in front of me. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, we could feasibly just use the number that are equal to the number of people playing, and we'll do that. I don't have to draw too many more cards. So let's mix them up here. So everybody's going to get a card so they can react. It's going to go in ascending card order. So like 1 will go first, then 2, then 3, then 4. So on. I've just got 5 because there's basically 3 of you and a spirit, so we'll figure that out. So let's go ahead and let's get into it properly, shall we? So I'm going to think this all through, did I? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go right around, draw for as I see you guys on my screen. So we're going to have Bridget is going to go with a 4. Now what you can do is you guys can, if you have certain abilities, does anybody have that one ability that gets you to draw 2 cards? Okay, just making sure.
No.
Just making sure. Oh, there's some weird ambience going on with this thing here, too. This music I can go. Our music today is by Tabletop Audio, which is always my favorite place to grab audio. Who's next on the... Ian, you're going to go with a 2. Oh, that's really drawn out. There we go. And Shiv, you're going to go with a 1. Very nice. And Ghosty will go with a 5. So,
Right.
now, in your turn, basically everybody can do basically 2 actions. You can do like a move, and some sort of like regular action, type of situation. If you start doing more than that, you get penalties to things, but you can try to do multiple stuff. It's more of like we're going to describe kind of what we want to do, and we'll figure out how it would work from there. There's not really like action economy, like I'm going to use a bonus action and a move action and a standard. We don't really kind of do that in the system. It's a little more free flow to that. If you guys have played more of like narrative games or like Powered by the Apocalypse types games where you get to do multiple stuff, we're going to play it more like that. So you're all relatively in the same mid-range area, so we don't have to worry about ranges and people having to move super far, other than the fact that there seems to be a spirit that Bridget's facing over where she's at, and an actual physical thing over where you guys are at. So there is a little bit of a party split, so we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
with the 1, we're going to start right off with Dr. Kincaid. So as this man who has formed in the bed is reaching towards you, what do you want to do, my friend?
Well, seeing this is obviously completely thrown me because this thing's just formed in the bed, right? Out of nothing, out of just yeah. So as it's reaching towards me, I'm going to use my medical bag and just trying to swat its hand away as I'm like trying to backpedal and get out of its reach and just be like, oh shit, and just like stumble backwards.
Hell yeah, I love it. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and let's have you do this then. Let's go and have you make, this isn't really a fighting, because you're not really fighting this guy, but it would kind of be like a fighting type role. But how I'm going to adjudicate it, because you're doing something special, is let's have you go ahead and make a close combat roll, we'll call it.
Oh, okay. That's only 3 dice, so I've got nothing in close combat. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 1 success. 1 success.
Okay, great.
That's
so,
good.
Yep. So as you get the bag up and you smack his hand away, you can see that there is like a spark of blood that streaks across the side of the bag where his hand makes contact with it and streaks away. You do deflect his hand, you don't get hit, and you stagger back out of the way to make sure that you're okay. Over in the other room from where you are, it's sort of near the... Well, actually, let's put it this way. Bridget, when you rolled, which way did you go? Did you go towards that journal or away from that journal when you dove out of the way of this spirit?
I rolled away from it.
Okay. So, you've rolled closer to where the door is of the room then. The door is still open. You didn't say you would close this, so the door is open. So you do see the light of the hallway without. Grandmama is gone. The spirit does seem to be gone. But you do feel a malevolence within the room still. Like there is still a presence here that is kind of cloying down around you. So what do you want to try to do?
I would like to run for the book and then head to the room where the gentlemen are.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, you run across the room. As you do, as you go to pick up the book, let's have you go ahead and make a manipulation roll real quick. And again, you just really need 1 success to succeed on something, but...
I did get 1 success.
Okay, yeah. You get over to the book and you snatch it up, and as you do, you can feel there was a warmth that flows through it, through your hand, like you're grabbing in onto to something other than a book. But it goes away as soon as it pulls up off of the floor. It comes up. It's nothing out of the ordinary, just a regular book. You tuck it into hand and you turn back and move across the room. And as you do so, you get to the door and you can see the gentlemen across the way are confronted with what looks to be a very bloody, cut-up man in the bed. So with that being said, it is going to be Franklin's turn. Franklin, you are in the room with this cut-up man, and you just saw the doctor batted its arm away. What would you like to do to react here?
I guess just like it's instinctually like he looks behind him to see like where Sophie is, and I guess he at that point sees Bridget and like just shouting out like, "Is this thing physical?" Like just like what?
Right?
Like I want. Like, is there any way that we can like discern that? Like, is this obviously right because of the interaction between the doc?
Yeah, you see the blood streak down across the side of his doctor bag as well, so it does look like it has at least physical form enough to do that, for sure.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm going to pull out my revolver. And,
nice, okay.
I'm blasting.
Right. Then I start blasting.
Start blasting. Nice.
I mean, I am a trained marksman, and with that gives me a +2. I'm just going to shoot at it.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make a ranged combat precision roll. Yeah, with your +2 for being a marksman with the revolver, and I'll see what this thing has to roll here. Because what happens is when you attack, you basically roll like a reaction type roll, I guess you could say. So he only rolls 2. Okay. How many successes did you get, or not get?
I got 4 successes.
Okay, yeah. So you blast a hole right in the center of the chest of this guy. This huge cacophonous boom goes out through the center, shattering the silence that is within the inn, and you can see that there is blood and viscera that sprays out of the back of this guy all over the bed, all over the wall behind it. And as that happens, you see he just looks down, looks up at you almost in shock and in confusion. And as he reaches forward, you see that like all the cuts and scrapes on him, they're starting to grow, starting to get more numbered. And then he starts to fall apart. Pieces of himself fall apart where the scrapes are. And as he falls down into different bits around you all as he reaches for you, there is a snap. And all the blood and gore in the room, him, everything is gone. You stand in a regular room just exactly as it was when you guys had all first entered it.
I'm just standing there, me with my gun out, just like, okay. Okay.
In the hallway, Sophia does scream at the fact that you shot a gun. Then there is commotion from downstairs, and you see that Clint comes up the stairs bounding with the revolver in his hand as well, and he points it up in there and starts waving it around back and forth. What's happened? What's going on here? And he's back and forth looking for what's going on. He looks back and forth to the 2 different rooms. And then there is some more commotion. It sounds like somebody else is coming up behind him. And here comes Sammy, the innkeeper, is coming up. This is, what is happening? What have you done to my... And he gets up, he shoves past Clint and gets up to the top. He's looking past. He sees that there are feathers that dance across the air where you shot the pillow, and there's stuff raining down. Did you just shoot that room? What's going on? You don't... And he looks at you, Bridget, and he's just kind of, you should get out of my inn. I don't like what you guys are doing here. Just really blustered up.
Your assistance is not needed at this time. Go back downstairs.
What was that?
He just looks back and forth amongst everybody, just really kind of... Make a manipulation roll for me, please. I'll give you a bonus die because you succeeded so well before, and he is pretty scared of you.
If you get lots of successes, he has to do that where he just walks backwards like he's being rewound down the stairs.
I got 1 success.
Okay. That's right. There's a tense moment, and he looks back and forth at all of you, and then you see he does very reluctantly relent, and he... Come, girl. And he reaches for Sophia. Let's get you out of harm's way, and he helps her get out of the way so that she might not get accidentally shot or something like that. And starts walking downstairs with her, looks at you all again. And just keeps walking. He doesn't even know what to say. Clint looks at you. What did you see?
I hold up my bag with the bloody sort of like handprint on it.
Yeah, is the blood still in the bag?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
That is still there, yes.
Oh. Like, that's what happened.
You have that book that you pulled out from beneath his mattress, and all of the wet blood that was on that is now the dried blood that you first found. The blood that was ripping down the walls, gone. It looks like that. The only thing that's in this room now that looks out of sorts is the destroyed pillow from your gunshot.
Are we all in the room at this time?
I'm assuming Bridget went over there too, or
Yeah.
Yep.
Franklin goes behind everybody and closes the door.
Okay.
And he takes off his hat and he brushes his hair to the side and his chops and he goes, "Okay, we've experienced a very active and strange phenomenon here, and you, Mr. Clint, have some explaining to you. You can do this standing up or sitting down. Pick one. Keep in mind you have a bad knee.
I'm fine. What exactly did you see? What happened? Where did that book come
Can
from?
you I would actually like to know that from you, Mr. Clint. We found this under your bed.
Oh, it's not mine.
Mr. Clint, I have been through a very trying experience here. I would really appreciate nothing but truths from you.
I assure you
Please.
it's not mine. This is the first I have seen it.
That is the second time that I feel as though that you have lied to me, Mr. Clint. The third time comes with a very shocking experience to your good knee.
Go ahead and make a observation roll, if you could, please, Franklin.
Blam.
Pretty much. Then I started shooting.
I come in
They
blasted.
started blasting.
Bridget hears Franklin talking about his trying experience, and she starts cleaning his aura now.
Nice. Nice.
Man, I'm going to start using this. I got 2 successes. Come
Okay.
on. Give me something.
He is completely telling the truth. He has not seen this book. He has no idea what this book is. He looks very confused that you have twice now accused him of having it be. I assure you, I do not know what that book is. I haven't seen it.
Okay. Understood.
You found it under the bed, you just said.
Yes, this was under your bed, under the mattress. I assume the pistol in your hand was also here as well, and points to the area where the pistol.
Yes, it is mine. And at this point, he actually lowers the hammer of it and he puts it away in like a holster inside of his coat. So what did you see? I'm trusting you didn't fire that off because you heard something like I did. So what did you see?
Doc, shall I, or would you like to take this one?
Doctor's like visibly shaken. And then I'll start to explain this thing that just formed in front of us before falling apart, and the blood and all that, and go into like quite sort of graphic detail of what I saw, referring to the bag with the bloody handprint on it and all that as well.
Okay. Yeah, he listens and just slowly nods. I didn't see any of that when I had my incident, so there's clearly something else going on here. You you investigators, you have a way about you, that's for sure. I just don't even know how to begin. It's the first time in a long time I felt so out of my element here. I just
Does the name it was Pavan?
Pavan.
Pavi, yeah.
Oh, okay. Pavi. Does this name ring a bell to you?
No, he doesn't. Again, he's being truthful. However,
Yeah.
all of you can make a learning roll to see if you remember something that you might have found out earlier. What's kind of fun about this system is you can kind of retcon in information based upon clues that you discern as you go along. So,
One success.
One?
Wait, I want to use my other talent,
okay.
and this can
Which
only
is?
happen once per game. It's
Ooh.
called elementary.
Oh, yes, okay.
To where once per game I can ask the DM how all of the clues connect.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Mm.
So, Deb, you have one success. Did you get any successes, Shiv?
One.
One, okay. And do you still want to roll to see how I mean, you're going to get a lot with that talent, but do you want to roll as well? Ian, or
Learning,
no?
correct?
Yeah, be a learning roll.
Yeah, I'll do
Okay.
one. And one success.
Okay. So, with each of you getting a success, we'll just kind of blanket this information. So, here's how it goes down. As you put the pieces together, you actually all do remember that name, this Pavi. You remember it from before, when you guys were doing your investigations into the Witch Cat Inn, and the fact that there was a group of Vaesen. I'm not saying Vaesen, excuse me, wrong word. There was a group of the society members who would use this place as a meeting ground. You remember that this Oscar Holt, this one who went missing, same one you had discovered had gone crazy and had tried to kill the rest of his group. The rest of his group are individuals that 2 out of the 3 of them are still part of the society. They're much, much older now. And one of them is in their 70s, one of them's in their 80s, but they're like overseers who kind of investigate and see what's going on with everything. But this Pavi, you remembered from downstairs when you guys were walking about, especially you, Bridget, you recall this, and as you all get talking, this all comes out in unison. That was actually the name of the guy who currently owns this inn, of his father, who would have been the proprietor at the time that the group would have been meeting here. You remember that? You remember the fact that this man was here within a group, the fact that now you have this bloody journal that you found, and as you start looking through it, and you start piecing clues in together, it becomes very, very elementary to you as you start finding through everything, that basically what has happened here, you find clues within this journal that there was a group of 4, a cell like your own, from the society who came here. They were meeting, and they had plans to go through some sort of, we'll call it dark ritual. And in order for that ritual to succeed, the other 3 members of the group were not in fact attacked by this man, this Oscar Hilt, who tried to kill them. They actually attacked and murdered him. So the way the clues all fit together is, it would seem his spirit, having been murdered here, still haunts the grounds and wants justice for his murder. Now, how the Dance of Dreams features into all this and what exactly is going on besides that might remain to be seen, but you can at least figure out enough to know what's going on with this guy, and this story that they concocted of how he summoned something and it killed him was probably fabricated to cover their tracks.
And the father of the innkeeper, who is Pavi, was a part of it. Like they hosted, said, and the innkeeper said nothing. This is in character out loud.
Sure.
And the innkeeper said nothing of this. Mr. Clint, are you aware of any of this information? Again, truths are appreciated.
No. This is the first I've heard of any of this. I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. Like I said, this is so far out of my reach. I don't even know.
I have a question, and I'm sorry, anybody stop me if I'm taking too much. The two older gentlemen that are still with us, that are the overseers of the investigators, are they in this city? Can we contact them?
They are in the city that you guys departed from, which is about half a day's journey from here by carriage.
So it'd probably take something like a day, a letter or something, or someone to ride back to town or something like that to get back to word to them.
Yeah, it would take some time.
Take some time.
Yeah.
Bridget, could you please make a vigilance roll?
One success.
Okay. You feel that cold breeze that you felt in the room across the way slowly comes through this room as well. And as it passes by Clint, standing just inside the door, he takes a step forward, kind of shakes as if he gets a chill. And he falls over onto his side and, completely unconscious, slams into the floor.
Ooh. I think I'm gonna head over and check him over, pulse, things like that.
Yeah, you go over to him. Go ahead and make a medicine roll, if you could, please. Are we still here? Hey, we are back, and This is what happens when you investigate the Vaesen, the strange mythological creatures. They sometimes fight back. So we are back. Thank you all. If you're still hanging out, thank you for hanging out. So, if I recall, you guys are trying to find out what's going on with this inn, and more specifically, Oscar Clint just, Oscar. I'm getting people mixed up now. Oscar is the dead guy. Olas Clint is this guy. So, Clint just fell over, right? He's unconscious, and the doctor was just checking him out. Going to go do a medicine check. I don't remember. Did you roll that, or did you not roll that yet, Shiv?
I don't think I did. Let me roll it. Oh no, yes I did. Sorry, I had 3 successes. Yes, I did.
Yeah, you go over and you take a look at him, and you can see that he is basically he's asleep. It's like he's fallen asleep. You can see his eyes are darting back and forth behind his eyelids, like he's actively dreaming or having some sort of night terror in his sleep. But he's completely asleep. You shake him a little bit, maybe even try to rouse him with some medical terms. Slap him a couple times, whatever it is you do, and it doesn't wake him. He stays asleep. What are the other two?
I'll turn back to the rest of them and just say, well, at least he's alive. So I don't know what's going on. He seems to be in a comatose state, but he's alive.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys all want to do about it?
Okay. Shit.
Come out blasting.
Just shoot him. Come on.
When in doubt.
Up. Okay.
He's not sleeping now. No.
Sleep. Well, I'm not dragging him downstairs. We'll just leave him here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with what we know, right?
Yeah.
Well, first off, no. So, Bridget, what happened in the room? Did you find anything in that other room?
Well, I think I encountered the same person you did, but his spirit. You dealt with his physical form, and I encountered his spirit. He's very angry.
So we're all in agreement that that's Oscar, right?
And I do worry now that Oscar is possessing Clint. So, be careful, Doctor. I felt a presence come into the room and collide with Clint.
That's possible, is it?
Clint.
Just take a step back from the unconscious man.
Yeah, you start trying to wake him, and he doesn't seem to be waking up at all. I mean, you can try to do a. Let's see, how would we do this? Let's do a manipulation roll with a -1 die because of how he's asleep.
Okay. 4 for me.
4 successes?
No, it's 4 die, and I got no successes.
No success? Do you want to push it at all, or you don't have to? I'm just making sure you guys all know that's still a thing.
You know what? Pushing it will allow me an extra die, right? Or
it allows you to re-roll. You do get 1 success, but you can re-roll for more stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna push it, and so in the effort of trying to wake Mr. Clint up, frustration is building inside of Franklin.
Yep.
Because we just we it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back type situation. It's starting to like piss Franklin off, and so he's like, Clint, god damn it, Clint! Like he's just really giving him the business. This poor man on the floor.
Yeah, you do. You start manhandling this guy. You're trying to really roughly force him awake. You start screaming his name, and and he does not wake up. Now, normally in a situation, even when you push, when you get only 1 success, it would be normal. However, this is not working. This would let you all immediately know that this is not a natural slumber he's in. This is some sort of other. So there's definitely something else going on that's keeping him asleep.
Even if I kind of like switch it up a little bit and I don't start calling him Clint, I start calling him Oscar, like kind of doing that.
Yeah, he doesn't wake. You could tell it looks like he's having a fitful dream, but he's not waking up.
Is it dark yet?
In fact, it's interesting you bring that up because, as we mentioned before, it was like mid-morning when you guys arrived. There was lots of light in this room because the window shades were open. It's dark outside now.
I get up and I push past the dock and I go into the hallway and I'm going downstairs to look for Sophia.
When you open the door, you find Sophia in the hallway in a similar state to Clint. Dropped exactly where she was against the banister of the stairs that go downstairs.
Quickly turn to Bridget and go,
Bridget, I'm gonna start flipping through the book that I took out of the other room to see if there's any clues in there.
Okay. As you start going through the book, it's a diary of sorts, and it seems to be written by someone named Nora, who you're not entirely sure, but you would gather by the fact of where it is and the fact of what it starts to see that you can tell that it's about. You can definitely tell that this is the journal of Sophia's mother. And go ahead and let's just make it simple. Instead of reading, different snippets of it, go ahead and make a roll, and we'll see how much of the overview we got. Just because we're a little caught on time right now because of the little power mishap we had a second ago. So my fault, but we'll make it up here.
You want like a
Oh, I'm
a
sorry.
learning
I
or
probably should tell you what to roll. Yeah. I will let you decide. If you want to do investigation, again, that would be more of like you trying to just piece together clues. If you want to do learning, that would be you taking time with the book, seeking answers within it. Or if you have magical means, you could try to magically figure out too, because you could try another seance or something.
I could try another seance. I feel like we don't have time for a seance, but I am going to use observation.
Okay.
So we're going to call on the spirits.
Okay.
That's a better skill for me. But I'm still exhausted. Okay.
Well, you do have your one condition that went away because you used your memento, if you remember.
Yeah, and then I got another condition immediately by
okay. Okay.
the spirit. But I did get one success.
Okay. You start kind of getting a feeling of what's going on and getting a feeling of everything that's happening, and you get a general feeling from beyond, a feeling almost like when you're going through the book and you're thinking about Nora and you're thinking about Sophia's mother and what might have happened, you get a general feeling of unhappiness, of regret, of maybe not reaching your full potential, and within that is a small sliver of hope, like maybe something that was once within this room offered a chance of a new beginning.
Something in this room is important.
which room? Clint's room?
The one we are in.
Or in Clint's room. Okay. Something.
That is
Little-
as much as my magic 8-ball gave me.
Still like being affected by the angry condition. Like Franklin's like, we need something more than that. Something is just not, there's a lot of somethings. There's a bed, there's a table. Like what am I, give me something other than something.
It seemed to be a symbol of hope. Something that was able to take the place of regret.
Okay. Franklin's gonna start pacing the room, and then you all notice that he pulls out his flask again, and he kind of like has it in his hand, and he's flipping it around like this, and then he looks at it. He unscrews the top, and then he screws the top back, and he plays with it again, and he puts it in his pocket. Hopefully, that's enough to get rid of the angry condition.
Okay. Yeah. We'll say you guys take some time looking through the book, trying to get an idea of what's going on. Look, spending some time with the flask and whatnot. You're able to calm down after some time. But yeah, you would, for the sake of brevity here, you would all come to the the realization as you maybe check as well that the three of you are the only ones awake in the building right now. So you find the proprietor, Sophia's father, is actually downstairs asleep behind the bar as well. All three of them seem to be in the same state of they're asleep, but they seem to be distressed. They seem to have their eyes darting back and forth as if they are actively dreaming or perhaps even having a nightmare. So, what is it you guys wish to do? I know it's...
We have not gone up to the attic yet.
No, we haven't
you
yet.
haven't?
No.
And that's where
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. We're
Okay.
gonna dash up to the attic.
Dash up. You guys go and you find that the attic door is that one that was basically the other one that was across the hall. Not one of the two that would be for guest rooms, the one or the two, but that third one in essence. You open that door and it has stairs that lead upstairs. And as you guys open the door, you see that the entire little stairway, it's just a single little flight of about 12 steps that goes up. The little walls on either side are decorated with the same kind of pennants and same kinds of little flags that you saw outside by the roadside advertising the Dance of Dreams production that was going to be going on upstairs in the attic. And as you walk your way up there, there's no creaks or squeaks on the floor or anything like that. But when you do get up into the attic, what you find is it's a little bit drafty in here because it is cold and there was a slight ripple of the unnatural breeze in here. You can see that there are a few areas around here and there where actually some snow has fallen down in through cracks in the roof because it's collected in different things nearby. You can see that there is some sort of, for lack of a better description, a set piece of some sort. It looks like a small little frame, like a podium almost, that someone would stand on, and it's got snow collected on top of it. And over here, where you could see that there's a trunk that has costume pieces in it, would be covered in snow as well. And then there's another spot over by pretty much where you guys are all standing, where there's some snow and ice that is partially melted, where you guys stand amongst it. You can see that there is a small little stage type area that is erected over on the far wall directly across from the stairs where you guys are. And you can see that there are several wooden chairs that are all lined up across one wall, like where an audience would sit, but they're not positioned in a way where an audience would be able to actually see the stage, so they're probably not set up yet, you would guess. So, anything specifically you guys want to try to figure out and see up here, or figure out what's going on with?
Bridget, do you feel anything in here?
I would like to take out my crystal ball and see if Grandma can give me any insight.
Okay. Absolutely. So using your crystal ball, you can go ahead and make another test for that. So you can go ahead and roll your, it's going to be your observation again, which like you did before in Nora's room. Using the crystal ball, you get a +1, correct? And I want you to remember too, Deb, you do have an advantage that you gained earlier. You could use it at any time
that's
during the course of the
right.
game to get a +2 on a roll. Not saying you have to use that here. I'm just reminding you that you have it. So just so you know that that's going on.
I am gonna use that because I didn't roll any 6s the first time. So, but I did get 2 successes.
Okay.
With my advantage.
So you set up the crystal ball. You set up the same kind of chalk circle that you did downstairs before. The same type of ritual. You guys have seen her do this maybe once or twice before. I mean, you guys have been together as a group for 3 years, so you've seen her do this. But what sort of feeling do the two of you have about this? I know you guys have very different viewpoints on the occult while she's doing this, and I'll need you to make another check here in just 1 second, Deb, for something else going on. So.
I think the doctor's starting to feel a little bit uneasy after the things he's seen so far. So this is kind of like, okay, this might work against us, it might work for us. So he's kind of a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
He's probably standing more near the door in case anything should happen, and he can just book it out the door if anything goes wrong.
Okay. And how about you, Franklin?
I think Franklin's probably at that halfway point from where the doc is at the door and where Bridge is doing her seance. And it's more so of just seeing, and like every time he sees this, it's more and more interesting, but he doesn't get it fully. So it's more so of somebody who's watching to understand.
I got you. Absolutely. So you guys watch Bridget go through these motions, and at the end of this, Bridget, as you finish doing the circle, you're standing there, you feel the familiar presence of Grandma come up to stand next to you. She stands there for a long moment, you realize. She used to do this when she was alive still, and when she would actually use her abilities. She just watches past what you guys are all seeing. She's looking towards the stage. And she cocks her head slightly. I wonder if the girl knew what she did when she built the stage there. How she became implicit in their crimes as well. Look beneath, if you wish to find him for real. The doctor will know what happened. He will see. He will know. But yes, this is the place where it happened. Oh yes. Be careful. His spirit will be stronger here if it returns. And she takes a step back. You gentlemen do not see this, obviously. This is just for her alone, being the occultist she taps into and hears her grandmother in these moments.
Anything?
Below the stage. His real body is below the stage. My grandmother said to be careful.
Okay. Did she say why?
This is where they killed Oscar.
I'll look at Franklin and be like, shall we check it out?
Yes. It's a wooden stage, obviously. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and it does look like somebody hand-built it. You could tell that it probably took some time, because of the size of it. It takes up an entire quarter of the attic space up here. But you do see that certain parts of it are pretty, say, unskillfully put together. I'll put it that way. Like somebody maybe who was learning as they went along. So some things are slightly uneven and slightly skewed the way they're cut and measured. I mean, it's serviceable. It'll work for what the purpose is, but it's not very great quality. Put it that way. But yeah, it's there.
I rush back downstairs to where my bag is, and I grab my crowbar out of it, and I come back up and I head towards the stage and I start lifting boards.
So may I ask, where did you leave your bag?
Well, it would have been outside of Clint's room.
Okay. So he starts to go downstairs, and as he does, the two of you want to do anything while he's fetching his crowbar, or no?
No, the doctor's going to stand where he is until Franklin gets back.
Okay. And how about you,
I'm not going
Bridget?
anywhere near that stage.
Right. Okay.
I have sort of tucked into my belt a long, really kind of wicked-looking dagger made of obsidian that I'm gonna pull out and just have ready in case something comes.
Okay. I love that. So Franklin, you get downstairs and you start going over to Clint's room, and as you do, you are walking past where Sophia is lying on the floor. And as you step into the room and you go over to your bag, and you open it, you start reaching in for the crowbar, you catch motion out of the corner of your eye. And you look, and you can see that in his sleep, Clint starts to sit up. And he sits up slowly, like the entire upper half of his body is one solid thing, like he just kind of sits up. opens his eyes to look at you. His eyes look past you. He doesn't see you. Apparently, you asked him before if he was having lucid dreaming. Apparently, he might be having some lucid dreaming now because his eyes look past you. And he says to you in his own voice, but not his own words, "You cut me up. You can't make right what you did before." And his hand slaps forward and starts to push himself up off of the floor. And as he does, in the space between he was just covering and the outside of the door, you see Sophia in the hallway start to stand in a similar manner, reaching up, grabbing the banister, pulling herself up. What do you want to do?
Okay. When he sits up, right?
Yes.
And now he's trying to pull himself up.
good.
Are we talking like Thriller style? But it's not like real quick.
Yeah, he's like got a hand and he's starting to move himself over onto his knee and push up with his hand to get his other foot underneath him. Yeah.
I yell out, or I kind of just go, "I'm sorry," and I run over and I do one of these, boom, and just like kick him in the chest with both of my feet.
Awesome.
I just drop kick him from a standing position.
Amazing. All right, go ahead and roll a close combat roll, which is going to be physique based, and I'm going to have him roll an agility check to try to not get hit. Okay, and then we'll compare successes, and I'll determine how that goes down.
That is not correct. Hold on. One success.
Okay. So you go for it and you kick him in the chest, and he does stagger back. He slams into the side of the door and slumps down. He loses his footing and hits the ground for a second and starts to try to get back up. And you see that Sophia is completely up on the hallway at this point, and her head slowly turns towards yours, her eyes open, looking past you still, and she starts to move in. "You won't be able to fix what you did." She comes forward trying to get at you as well.
I guess after I got Clint somewhat on the floor again, I'm going to shoulder check Sophia, but holding I'm gonna hold the crowbar on the shoulder that I'm trying to hit. You should try to shoulder check with. So it's like he's running like this with the crowbar and he's gonna like knock her down. I'm just trying to get past him.
Oh snap! Okay, make a force roll because you're gonna try. It sounds like you're trying to blow past her, push her out of the way, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make a force roll. We'll see how that goes. The force, I believe, is also going to be physique based. So 2. Okay, yeah. You knock her as she hits the railing, the banister, flips over it and tumbles onto the stairs onto the other side. And you see she kind of staggers and starts to try to get back up to her feet. Where are you going as you get her out of the way? You see Clint is slowly getting up to his feet in the room behind you as well.
I'm running back upstairs.
Okay.
To the attic with everybody. Yeah.
While this is going on, in the attic, Doctor, you start to hear a voice. And the voice is speaking to you, and it almost sounds like they are saying some sort of strange litany or a play or something. They're speaking words, almost like a scripted performance, talking about how the young man went across, the young man found his way, and his friends betrayed him, and he starts going through this big long story, and you can't quite hear all of it, so it's in and out of understanding. But Bridget, you hear that, so you feel a presence in the attic once more. I need you to please make it was a. Sorry, when we lost power, I closed my book, so let me open that back up again and get that going. I believe it was a. Let me get this over. I believe it was a manipulation roll, an observation roll. But let me. Do you remember what I had you roll before you start doing the seance in Nora's room? While I'm finding this.
I think observation.
Okay. Let's just have you roll that until this is open, and we'll just call that good enough. Sorry, everybody.
1 success.
1?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You suddenly have fear fill you. You get very, very cold. you feel like there is that presence here. It means you harm, and you can see that there was a figure who starts to emerge, much like he did in the room down below when he was looking at the book. He starts to emerge out of the shadows, standing on the stage. He has what looks to be a knife in hand, and as he fully emerges, his eyes meet yours. He's the same younger man with the brown hair. His face morphs and shifts for a second to reveal that skeleton beneath, and as he looks, the society let me down, but I have learned how to do so many things. I will kill each and every one of you before you finish what you have started. And he starts to walk across the stage, fresh cuts and slices appearing in him, cutting up his clothes and stuff, as the damage that the other people did to him all those years ago starts to be made form again. And as you get to the base of the stairs leading up into the attic, Franklin, Doctor, you're up there with her. Let's do initiative again, shall we?
Okay.
To figure out what we can do here. So, again, I'm going to go around my screen here. I'm going to go in reverse order this time. Why not? So, we're going to have Ian, you're going to get a 5. Oh, that's okay. And then Shiv is going to go on a 1. I think you got a 1 last time, didn't you?
Got 1 last time, yeah.
Awesome. And then we're going to have Bridget go on 3. And Ghost with the most goes on 4. So, it's pretty much the same order as before, other than having Franklin at the bottom. So, now I got my stuff open again. So what happened, because you got 1 success on that observation roll that you had made, and he got 2 successes on the ability that he was using, you are going to, because it's 1 higher, you're going to take 1 level of mental condition. So you're going to become, I'm going to say frightened, because I had mentioned it was like a fear type of effect. So you do have that condition as well. Now, you did say that you were exhausted. That's a physical condition. So the 2 of those don't like stack, because one's physical and one's mental. If you gain other physical or other mental, they will, though. So just keep that in mind for your rolling. But let's go ahead and see what you want to do, Dr. Kincaid, as you see this young man all sliced up, looking very angry. The room up here is very cold. It seems like fresh snow is falling down in through the roof as he is making his presence known.
And he's heading towards Bridget, is he?
He is.
Right, okay, so...
Because he could see she's in the middle of doing a seance, which looks very similar to a dark ritual that might require someone to get murdered for.
I'm going to take off and try and tackle this guy before he can get to her.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to sort of try and book it with my doctor's bag in hand and use that as kind of like as like a block between me and him to try and shove.
All right. So, yeah, so
him
you're trying to bum rush
backwards.
him. You're not trying to be stealthy about this?
No, I'm just trying to just basically from a dead sprint to just to take it, knock him back as far as I possibly can.
All right.
So he can't get to break this seance or do anything that's might harm Bridget at all.
Perfect. Let's have you go ahead and make a force roll, which is tied into your physique. So let's go ahead and have you roll those. And again, because you're doing it against him, he has an oppositional roll that he makes based upon his agility physique to try to kind of get out of the way. He's going to take a die penalty, though, because he's not actively trying to resist you doing that. He was just going for Bridget, so he's only going to roll 1. So chances are you're going to get him, but we'll see. He did not get a success anyway, so...
I only got 1.
1. Okay, that's fine. That's enough. So yeah, you surge forward, and right as he's about to get to Bridget at the edge of the stage, you just now. Are you trying to tackle him, or you're just trying to hit him out of the way?
Well, I'm basically trying to like knock him as far back as I possibly can. I'm using the force of me running towards him as well as like my bag as like a tackle bag. You know, like you would just like bang and sort of like hit him backwards as hard as I possibly can.
All right, yeah. So yeah, you do. You knock him back a good 10 feet to the edge of the stage. He hits into the side of it and staggers for a bit, and he gets slammed up against what looks like some sort of blanket that's been hung up to be curtains for the theater, and he gets tangled in them for a moment and is starting to get himself free. He does seem to have physical form right now, which is interesting to you, but that would be you. So then it is going to be you, Bridget.
I would like to use the Conjuring Tricks talent.
Yeah.
And, bring up, since haven't seen the other two, I've seen at least an image of Nora, and kind of bring up her form sort of spectrally, to distract him and to try and convince him through her sort of mouth that he shouldn't harm us.
Ah, interesting. Okay. So that conjuring tricks, does it require you to do a roll? What kind of test does that require for you?
It lets me use stealth instead of manipulation, so I will make a stealth roll.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
4 successes.
Oh my goodness. And then he's doing a opposed vigilance roll, which I have a good feeling for you because you got 4. He's only rolling 3 dice, but he's got a bonus to something. But okay, so yeah, no, you basically you manifest an illusion of Nora standing up as he rips himself free of the curtain. She's standing there. What does she say and do to get his attention and to distract him? It is successful.
She sort of moves between the doctor and Oscar, and sort of just stands in front of him and says, "Your fight is with me, not these people."
Aha. All right. He does seem to stop his attention. He is next, so he does seem to stop his attention away from all of you and looks at her. And he says, "You are not dead, but you are restless like I am. You hope to escape your husband's overpowering ways, to take your daughter as well. But it was not enough, was it? Oh no, it was not enough." He just keeps looking at her, having this moment. Basically took up his turn just being distracted by her. So then finally, it is going to be Franklin. Franklin, I'm assuming you come running up the stairs to get to your companions?
Yeah, Franklin comes running up the stairs, and like when he gets into the attic, he was like, "They're possessed down there!" It's great. And then like, then turns around and sees what's going on. He's like, "What?"
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna close the door to the attic.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use the crowbar to kind of like brace it to keep them from anything else busting.
I love that. Yeah. Let's have you make a roll to see how like strong your well, actually no, let's do this instead. Let's do it this way. What is your physique rating?
3.
3. Okay. I'm going to say then it's going to take 3 successes for them to burst through the door, as they try to make basically force rolls to smash through it. So whether that could be one single turn, one person could do that, or it could be multiple people. But as you slam the door, you do see that Clint is right on the other side as he reaches the door, and you hear him pound, 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 pound with his hands on the door. You prop the crowbar in as you hear what sounds like Sophia slamming, start pounding on the door as well. They're not talking, they're just doing some sort of incoherent as they're pounding and slamming on the door, trying to get into you. I didn't mean to have that sound like Arnold. I just realized that was like that's not what I was doing. But you know.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Yeah, exactly.
Duma.
I guess after I like close it, I want to run towards the stage, and then you can tell me how like you want this to happen though. I want to grab a handful of salt or something like from Bridget, whether it's her entire salt pouch or something.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, you get the door all propped up and you turn back and run up to the top. You know that you want to get some salt. You look around, you see her little pouch sitting on the floor next to where she has the seance circle, and you know it would be in there, and you could start to make your way there. Take a little bit longer than just a single turn to do that, but yeah, you do start to do that. And you do see, as you mentioned, all the stuff going on the stage. So, for the second round, let's do another initiative. Yeah, because there's different one each round. You don't stick with the same numbers. Isn't it interesting? So, let's do this. We'll start with Bridget getting a 3. Did you just have a 3 last time?
Sure did.
And we're going to have, this time, Franklin, you're going to get a 1. I think these are showing up well enough. Plus, I'm reading them out loud. And then, of course, Doctor, you're going to get a 4.
Oh,
And Ghost at the most is going to get a 5 again. So luckily, you guys are going before him. So first, even though it's a new round, Franklin, even though you just went, it's your turn. So yeah, you get over to her bag and you grab the handful of salt if that's what you wish to do.
I do. And then, am I on the stage now? Because you said this was happening all on the stage.
Yeah, you can get over, grab up the bag. Do you grab like the whole bag or just like a handful of the salt?
I grabbed the whole bag, just like for good measure.
Okay.
Like in a moment, you're there. I'm not going to be able to be precise and go, oh, okay, just this much.
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and you get up onto the stage. Yep.
Once I get the bag of salt and I'm on the stage, you said that there are floorboards on there that looks like they've been haphazardly put on there, like somebody who's been an amateur carpenter has done something.
Yep, that's right.
I want to start like Hulk stomping those boards to break them open.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make a force roll. Once again, physique, you're trying to just burst your way through there and try to get in there. I do realize it's a little bit past 5, everybody. Just be a couple more minutes because of the little power outage we have. We'll just get this finished up. So thanks for hanging out with the overtime for us here, everybody. As long as it's cool with my players.
360.
3?
3.
Heck yeah.
On a 4 dice roll.
Yeah,
That's
baby.
so lucky.
Now we're talking. All right, yeah. Yeah, you start pounding and kicking it on the floorboards, and they do give away and smash. And what you do see is beneath this section of the floorboard of the stage, there does seem to be a bundle of some sort. It looks like something that is like irregularly shaped underneath a darkly stained like cloth.
You can tell me if it's too much action right now. I get the bag of salt, and I start sprinkling salt over the bag. And I take my flask out and I pour that on top of the bag as well. And I look at the dock and I go, matches, something.
Okay. All right. So next, yeah, you can do all that. Yeah, you start pouring the salt in, the liquid on top of it. So next, it's the 3 that is going to be Bridget. Now, do you have to concentrate and control the spell that you're doing to have these tricks being conjured, or is that something that just happened? You could do other things now. Does it happen to say?
I doesn't say, so I think I can kind of
All right, yeah.
mess around with it.
Cool.
I do kind of want to I do I think I want to move this illusion of Nora to a different part of the room and just sort of keep his attention away from what these my gentleman friends are doing.
Absolutely. So let's do this, and yeah, go ahead and make that stealth roll again because you're using the same trick to do this. He's going to make another vigilance roll. Does notice anything out of the ordinary? Boy, oh boy.
Only 1 success this time.
1 is enough because he got nothing. I rolled 3d6, got 2 5s and a 3. So that's okay. Yeah. So yeah, she starts walking around, and what does she say? What does she do? You can kind of play through her for a moment.
She wanders a little bit like Bridget did at the beginning of our story, and just sort of starts to wander around the room, and says, "It may not have been enough, but it was something."
Aha, yes. His eyes seem to be transfixed on hers. He can tell that she has some sort of bigger purpose here. So he's watching her, and he seems to be having his attention drawn to her, which gives you, Kincaid, a perfect opportunity to do something unnoticed if you'd like. It is your turn.
Ooh, okay. I am literally going to try and just empty out my whole doctor's bag onto the floor, and just like anything that could be used as to light whatever Franklin's doing. Probably have some matches or something like that in the bag.
Yeah,
for
sure.
various reasons. Yeah,
Absolutely. I won't make you roll for it. Yeah, I'll say you're a doctor. You're a man of science. You're a man who's prepared. I think you definitely would have something like that. Yeah. So you dig around, you find them. Sure enough, a lighter or matches would be up to you. That's totally fine with me.
Yeah, I'll go with matches.
Okay.
And then just throw them as quickly as I can to Franklin.
Okay. I am going to be that guy, however, because you said you're going to throw them to Franklin. I'd like you to make an, we'll call this a, it's not really ranged combat, but I want to see if you throw it in the right direction. So let's have you make a ranged combat roll to see.
He's there, and I just throw him out the window.
Yeah. You're like, right, you throw him to the people breaking through the door.
Ooh,
What the hell, Doug?
2 successes.
Okay, yeah, that's more than fine. Yeah. So yeah, you take the matches, and Franklin, as you're yelling for matches, yeah, you see he finds them, he chucks them to you as they stream across the room. I'm gonna roll the force check for the people trying to get in. I'm gonna roll 2 because there are 2 people. There's Sophia and there's Clint trying to get in. So Clint's is gonna be a 2D. Okay, he's gonna get 1 success, and she's also gonna roll 2. And she gets 1 success. So there's pounding and slamming on the door at the base of the stairs down below. The crowbar is holding, but parts of the door start to splinter and shatter where it's hitting. And you can tell that they've almost broken through at this point. But the matches do come forward, and the ghost, Oscar Holt, is going to realize what you guys are doing. I'm going to have him make another check because you guys are disturbing his bones. He's able to react a little bit differently. Oh my goodness, still nothing. So, he stays transfixed on Nora. He's just watching her. He starts to step towards her. What do you know of my demise? It was long before you were even born, woman. And he's trying to follow her to see what she's talking about and see what's going on. And we're going to do new initiative. So, let's go ahead and start with Shiv this time. Dr. Kincaid, 3.
3. Lovely.
Okay, and Bridget's gonna get a 4, and Franklin.
You get a 5.
Oh, Franklin, no! Oh, you know what? I didn't have all the cards. Hang on a second.
Oh, reshuffle.
Yep, I didn't have all the cards. I had one of the cards on the table still, and I don't want to cheat. All right, so instead, Shiv, you got a 3 still. Lucky you.
3, that's fine.
And Bridget has a 4 still. Wait a minute. You guys just saw me shuffle. 4, 3.
What the hell?
Same exact cards. 2. Okay. So, whoops. I keep hitting my microphone. So,
Just loads of 5s and 3s in the deck. Nothing else.
So Oscar continues to try to inquire what's going on with her. I'm gonna have her make one more roll to see what's going on with you guys. Okay. Gets 2 successes on a roll to determine what you guys are doing, and he suddenly stops, and his head turns in the direction of the 2 of you starting to mess with his bones and stuff on the floor, and his eyes narrow, and the air in here starts to get even colder. You all could suddenly see your breath, and he starts stepping forward slowly. You wish to finish what you started. I won't let you. As he steps forward, fresh blood begins to drip down the knife in his hand, and more cuts continue on his body. A certain part of his form sloughs off like it did down below in the room. So that was him on the 2. 3 was Dr. Kincaid. Oh wait,
Okay.
2 is the people downstairs still, so they got to make a check too.
Yes.
Burst through the door. Nothing
They were at the
for
door.
Okay, the door is holding for them. No successes still, so we have one more. So yes, now Dr. Kincaid.
Now, so is this guy, is he kind of partially physical form, or is he like full material
As
form
best
now?
you can tell, he seems to be some sort of in-between state. I mean, you
Okay.
knocked him out of the way, so he was at least physical enough to do that.
Oh, okay, he's
Yeah.
still in that form.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's heading towards me and Franklin
Yes.
now. Okay, well, I'm going to try and sort of tackle him again, basically.
Now, actually tackle him this time, not shove him.
Yeah, I'm actually going to try and tackle him to the ground, try and
Okay.
keep him, from, so it gives Franklin enough time to do what he's got to do.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to slow him down as best I can, even if it's going to go for the legs and try and take him down that way, or
Yeah.
just grab him by the, full body tackle and take him down.
Absolutely. So yeah, you turn and you sprint towards him now because you're trying to actually tackle him. This will be a close combat roll. It's still physique based, so you roll close combat and
Yeah.
physique. He rolls the same because it's going to be he's trying to resist and everything. Again, if you have any physical conditions, they apply.
Ooh,
He has
okay. Well, he got 1.
Okay.
I got 1 as well.
So the two of you surge forward. You start slamming into each other. Your arms get tangled up. You guys start grappling and wrestling with one another. And you stop him in his tracks so he doesn't get any closer. But you don't knock him down or pin him or anything like that.
We just kind of like delay. Am I just like delaying it? We're sort of locked.
Yeah. You guys are struggling, feet up. Not feet up, like on your feet still, like struggling, grappling with one another, grabbing and pushing at each other.
Yeah.
The 4, that was Bridget. Bridget, your turn.
I am going to I'm gonna take my memento, which is this strange animal in a jar.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna smash it in the hole that that Franklin made, because I assume that it's real flammable, and I'm gonna try to help him light this as quickly as possible.
Ah, interesting. Okay, now there's 2 ways you can do this. 1, you can make a roll to assist, and your memento will somehow stay intact. Or you can have this succeed automatically by destroying your memento. You won't be able to use it to get rid of conditions any longer. You'll have to find a different memento. But that is a capability with mementos. They have an ability, you can sacrifice them, as it were, to move past them to gain bonuses and insights in the moment. So how do you want to go about this?
I'm just gonna kiss the little jar and thank this weird creature for its service and smash it into the hole.
Okay, so on your sheet you would remove that memento. When you destroy a memento, you also have one of your conditions automatically goes away as well.
Hey,
So just
great.
have that. Yeah. And so then you throw it into the hole, and when you throw it in and it smashes, it explodes into flames as well. It was flammable. There was some formaldehyde in there, and the way that the matches and stuff had fallen in there, who knows? Maybe it's magical. Maybe Grandmama had a match on her still. But as it hits down in below, it explodes, and fire rips out of the hole. As that happens, suddenly, Oscar Holt stops dead in his tracks. You had a hold of him. He screams as if he's on fire. Just, no! Ah! Ah! He lets go of you and staggers back. I mean, you can keep a hold of him still if you'd like, or you can let him go.
No, I'll let him. No, I'm going to keep hold of him. I'll keep hold of him.
Keep a hold of
I don't
him.
know what he's going to do.
Yeah, he just starts screaming like he is on fire, like he's hurt. Franklin, what are you doing as the fire starts up around you?
Well, that was my plan, was to set it on fire. Like, that's as far as I got.
All right. Honestly, I didn't think we'd get that far. No.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh, well, we did it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rush to the door and brace it.
Okay.
Cause like, yeah, that was my plan, was to set the bones on fire, and so I'm gonna go to the door and brace it.
Okay. You run past the good doctor who is holding the screaming man. You jump down off the stage, sprint across the attic, and when you get down to where the door is, they are just about to break through. You put your body behind it to hold it shut. And we'll go ahead and do one more initiative here to see what happens. Let me get all 5 of the cards. Okay. So, we're going to go with Bridget, 4. Good Doctor, 1.
Ooh.
I'm hitting my microphone. Franklin, 2. And Ghosties and the People Possessed, 3. So, Good Dr. Kincaid.
Okay.
You notice that fire that burst up out of the floor? Yeah, that's kind of on a really dry, old stage. You see that fire starts to spread a little bit.
Oh no.
But what would you like to do?
So is he just like, he's not posing any threat?
He's not.
anymore?
He's just screaming. It's as if he's on fire. He's just like, no! Ah! And he's like pawing at himself, trying to put himself out or something.
Okay, well I'm gonna let him go. Is there any? Well, I suppose there wouldn't be any implements to put this fire out, would there? There wouldn't be
Yeah, there's
anything-
the safety regulated fire extinguisher every 20 feet, so you
I was
just
gonna
grab
say,
one
there's
off the wall
of sand
and
or anything. No buckets of sand. No, nothing like that.
well, there is some sand
Shit.
in Bridget's bag that was already kind of brought over, but it's probably not going to be enough to smother
Probably
what's
not
going
enough
up here.
to other. Shit. I think I'm gonna have to just. Is it like drapes and stuff that are on fire, or
It's
like
just
curtains and
that
stuff, or is it
hole in
just
the
wood
floor
and
right
stuff?
now. The contents beneath and the hole in the floor are starting to get licked up with flames. The rest of the stage is not on fire yet.
I don't really know what to do with this because there's nothing for me. I can't really do anything. Oh shit! I think I'm gonna try and just help Franklin brace the door for the minute.
Okay. Yeah, so you run over and help brace the door as well. So as that's going, let's go ahead and make a force roll. We'll call it a force physique roll to try to hold the door with him.
Ooh, no successes.
Okay. Franklin, you were on the 2, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. My paper shifted here. I have your names on a little thing. I'm setting the cards by your names, and it's shifted. So, okay. So Franklin, go ahead and make a force roll as well to try to hold the door, like you were mentioning you were trying to do. You don't get a assist from the doctor right now. Maybe he's a little maybe out of sorts or something, but frantic.
1 success.
1. Okay. Let me roll something here. Okay. 1 versus 1 ties go to a defender in this game, so you're still able to hold the door. You can see because of the broken parts that Sophia and Clint are clawing and pawing, and actually you can see she's trying to reach up over him to get in at you guys. Her hand goes in and out of a hole in the door trying to claw at you guys. 3 was going to then be the bad people, I guess you could say. They're not really bad people, but they're going to try to break through again. So they just roll, instead of rolling 2 separate, they're kind of working together. So the door continues to hold. With your guys' supported weight behind it, the door continues to hold. The young man who was murdered all those years ago, no, just screaming on the stage. And Bridget, what would you like to do?
I would like to, what would I like to do? I'm gonna take down, you said there were like blankets being used as like curtains for the stage. I'm gonna take down one of those and like keep the fire as smothered as possible, so that it doesn't, turn into an inferno. I don't want to put it out yet because this presumably will help us defeat Oscar, but I do want to keep it as small as I can, so I'm going to try and smother any that starts to move beyond the little hole of bones.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go ahead and make let's make an agility roll, if you could, please.
No successes, but I'm going to push it.
Okay.
I think some of the flames lick up and burn me a little bit, so I'm going to take the wounded condition.
Got it. So that gives you 2 physical, if I'm looking at my notes here correctly?
I just had 1 because when I broke my memento...
That's right, you got rid of... Yep, you're exhausted.
It got rid of exhaustion.
Nice. Alrighty, cool, so you're alright. Yeah, but yeah, your hands and your arms do get burnt a little bit as you do kind of reach up to do that. And in the moment that you smother the flames enough to do that, and you see that this young man, now his face is just completely no longer a man's face. It's completely burned away. He basically looks like a flaming skull standing there, burning. His clothes are wicking with flames. And as he screams, he falls to his knees. I just wanted to help people. And he's reaching forward, trying to get at you, and he just slumps forward, and the flames are just too much. They withstand his spirit for now. You can see your grandmother step onto the stage behind him, looks down at him in a very disapproving grandma way. "Oh no, dear, you're done here today." And he just screams again, and the visage of this burning skull man just kind of blows and explodes, and light fills the whole attic for a split second, and then when the light fades, he is gone. Grandmother is gone for now. The flames have been silenced and squelched enough. The two people at the door suddenly stop. The door goes relaxed. And you look through the hole in the door, and you can see that Clint clears his head. He touches his forehead again. "You guys all right in there?" And just everything seems to have resided for now. So, you seem to have stopped Oscar Holt for now from doing whatever it is he is going to do, but what do you guys wish to do now? I mean, you have found out what happened to him. You found out what's going on with this place. But there's perhaps more work to do. That's kind of what happens being a member of the society. So what is it you guys wish to do to plan for the next steps here?
I know Franklin's going to want those two older overseers of the society to kind of answer for what's happening. So he's collecting as much as he can within the home, evidence, information, things like that. He also sits down and he has a conversation with the innkeeper about his father. And like hopefully within that, like something comes out of it to where the innkeeper's like, yeah, you know, kind of, or, you know, we've heard this is something, you know, but we never believed it, you know, just having one of those interrogation conversations with him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something with the visit that you all had here, I think definitely something is changed within him enough to kind of realize that maybe, you know, the generations of his stern father, who apparently was complicit in a murder, kind of trickling down is something that he can maybe move past now. You see, he looks towards his daughter with a little bit of a renewed type of respect for the fact that maybe she, you know, like her mother before her, maybe has a way to change this darkness here. How about you, good doctor? What do you wish to do in these moments here?
I think after learning about this, it's trying to figure out if there's any other, with the information we've got, if there's start looking to any other consistencies, like anything that might be similar cases that might pop up again, so we can sort of track the same sort of happening. So if this kind of thing happens again, we know that this is kind of the way we need to deal with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And also I think maybe along with Franklin's point is just to see how much of the society is involved in these sorts of things, if there's any more recurrences, there's maybe some corruption going on in the society, maybe just trying to smoke it out a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so as you do this, you'll actually be confronted by Clint, who tells you guys that he's actually impressed. You guys did acquit yourselves well. You did figure out what was going on with everything. It seems he was wrong to have to listen to the things about you guys, saying that you guys aren't very capable or whatever. But he does warn you that he doesn't know how the society works, but he does know that if you go looking into the higher-ups, people who apparently killed another member of the society to cover up whatever it was they were doing, that you should be careful. It's not an easy game you guys are about to start playing.
Well, we'll have to see how that goes.
Noted.
And how about you, Bridget?
Maybe they should be worried.
They should be worried, that's right. Did you see what we did to that ghost? No.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
And how about you, Bridget? What do you do to kind of lay your part of this to rest for the time being?
Bridget is going to spend a couple of days with Sophia and just give her some small meditation tools and practices that she's learned over her lifetime and through her grandmother, to help Sophia with some of the visions that she gets, and just pass along kind of as much of a crash course in what she knows will help Sophia, and just try to give her as much strength and courage as Bridget can.
Absolutely. I love that. You can tell through talking with her that she seems to understand a little bit more about what her mom might have seen and kind of gone through in those times, and you could definitely get the feeling that her mother, being one of the Thursday's children, one of those with the sight, that although it doesn't quite seem like Sophia does too, like there's certain tests and things that you can do, but maybe she has other capabilities, and maybe she can finally move forward and grow and kind of know what's going on. But one thing you do know for sure, based on the fact that what you all have done here, how she acts a little bit more assertive, and also how her father is a little bit more set back and kind of relaxed with what he is going to be doing from now on, it seems to be that she will not have to live in fear. So the promise that you made to her father does seem to hold true. So I think after the couple of days, as you mentioned, you guys kind of resolve everything, and you guys start to head back towards Uppsala to continue about your business with the society to see what might come next. Reporting these types of things, you did have success to a certain sort. But what I must feel compelled to ask is, do you guys do anything else in the attic space? Do you do anything with the remains of Oscar Holt, or do you do anything else in the tavern or the inn? I mean, it didn't burn down, so that's good. But is there anything else you guys want to do before you make your leave?
I keep the book.
Keep his book, his journal, as it were. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any of his stuff that remains left at all, or?
Yeah, his bones are still in there. I mean, they're a little bit burnt, but yeah, his bones are still there. They weren't burning long enough to be cremated or anything like that.
Okay. I'll probably suggest maybe they should be buried properly and not kind of left, just in case anything should come back. Maybe just let's do it properly. Let's be respectful, and let's put it to bed, and hopefully he might not come back again. Just to be safe.
Okay. I think that during those couple of days, you guys do find a time to give him a proper burial. There's some holy ground a couple of miles down the street, a church of some sort that you guys are able to lay him to rest at. And when you come back through this way and you pass the Witch Cat Inn again on your way back to Uppsala, you'll notice that kind of heavier fog, that kind of dreary feeling that it had, is lifted. It seems to have a little bit more positive spirits with his spirit finally being laid to rest. And you guys make your way back to Uppsala for another adventure in the world of Vaesen. And that was our game today. So awesome. Thank you very much for playing, guys. What a great time. I apologize. We had some very slight technical difficulties in the middle. I don't know what happened. My power just literally turned off and came right back on. Weird. But we appreciate you guys. We're glad you're all here. We're glad you guys loved it. I'm glad you guys had a fun time. Well, I hope you had a fun time playing. I'm not going to assume. But yeah, this was Vaesen, which is published by Free League Publishing. You can find it on their website, which I believe is probably freeleague.com or something like that. I have been there. But it's pretty easy to find. But this has been We Get to Play. So we hope you've found a new thing that you like to play, and you will get to play. So let's take a moment to learn who our players were and give them a chance to say what else they're up to, because I know all three of these people are busy with lots of other stuff. So let's find out. So let's go ahead right on over to Deb. Deb, thank you so much for bringing some cool fun with your occultist character today. What are you all up to? What else you got going on besides playing today?
Thanks, Kev. I'm Deb. This was a total blast. I'm glad that we got to reschedule this game because it's so fun to play with you all. I am on Wednesdays over on the Folk and Myth Twitch. We are playing Mika's Ystera campaign, which Ian is also in. We're 2 episodes into a long-form campaign, and it's so fun so far, so check that out. I'm also on the production team at Folk and Myth, and so I'll just plug Fridays. Bleak Season runs a Vampire the Masquerade game, and we've got some other plans in the works, so follow the Folk and Myth socials as well as mine. You can find me on Instagram at dsweats and see pictures of my cats occasionally, who like to show up on stream with their little tails. So thanks again, Kev. This was so fun.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you had a fun time playing a new game.
Yeah.
So it's a good time. Deb, it's always a pleasure. We will do it again. I'm sure we will. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Shiv, my friend, thank you for playing as well, dude. It's always great to sit down with you to do this. So, what all you got going on, man? Because, like you said, we're everywhere, man. We've been everywhere.
We're everywhere. Yeah, no, thank you for letting me play and along with these great players as well. It's a great game. You can find me at IOShiv across all social medias. It's all the same stuff. Whichever social media brand that's out there now, I'll be on it. And you can find me this Sunday coming up for the Greyhawk mega stream for the fundraiser for St Jude's Children's Research Hospital over at Guild Superior, where I'll be playing some Shadow Dark, which is very, very good over there. I've never played it before. It's going to be fun. I've heard it's quite lethal, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's where you'll find me there, raising some money for a good cause.
Amazing.
So come check it out.
That's what I'm saying. And what charity was it for? It's for the.
It's the St Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Oh, great. Awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's a great cause. St. Jude's does such great work. Yeah. So, that's next weekend, the 4th.
That's next Sunday the 4th at 2 p.m. CST. Come join us over at Guild Superior.
Amazing. Yeah, great stuff. Thank you for doing that as well, Shiv. So, thank you, my friend. Well, we will do it again, too. There's already been some talking. So, and of course, Ian, everybody's favorite. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, I don't know if about being everyone's favorite, but
it's true. Come on, it's true.
Here.
Literally, everybody I know who has played with you is like, Ian's the best. I'm like, I know he's the best. That's why he's awesome. But we all love you, Ian. Come on.
I will say this. I've said it before, and I'll say it a million times. I am only as good as the people around me, and the people around me are amazing. Everyone here at this table, everyone that I've been able to interact with. So, always fun to be at your table, Kev. I so appreciate it, and thank you so much for allowing me here. You guys, I'm Ian, or your boy Big on all social media. Of course, I will be on Folk and Myth on Wednesdays, playing in that long-form campaign. Definitely stop by because it's a lot of fun, and it's just going to get better. You also see me pop up on Folk and Myth a couple more times, too. This is the year of World of Darkness for myself, and that may happen over there. I'll also be on the Magi RPG channel doing some World of Darkness stuff also. Just if you want to know what I'm doing next, a lot of charity streams coming up. So just follow me on Twitter again at your boy Big YABOIBIG, and you'll see what's going on. And if you don't like my face but you enjoy hearing my voice, go to all major podcasting channels, and I am on the Fang Game podcast where we're wrapping up a VTM game, and we're going to be going into some other games this year too. So got a lot going on.
Amazing. Yeah, you're a busy guy. I love it. So great. I'm glad you're doing all that. Thank you for sitting down with me again. It's always great to sit with you, Ian, and we'll do that again too. I've been Kevin. I have been the game master today, and sitting down with these cool, fine folks. This is a lot of fun to play and to run. It's a great system, and I love it. And so going on some other stuff. We have Miniatures Monday coming up on Monday. Go figure. At 3 p.m. We have that going on. And on Thursday, we are starting our brand new stream, rescheduled, Age of Dark Water, which is a really, really cool reimagining of the old Pirates of Dark Water cartoon that was on in the early 90s. And if you know it, you know it's awesome. So please come check it out. We're playing Fantasy Age 2nd Edition, and that's going to be a blast on Thursday at 8 p.m. That has other channel regular Jeremy, as well as Best Bob and Sid, who we see on the channel all the time, and also Christine. Amazing players. It's going to be so much fun. Next weekend we got something going on too. I don't have that in front of me though. Something. But anyway, it is going to in fact be 100% Chongo Longo indeed. So, it's going to be fun. But thank you all for hanging out. I want to thank Tabletop Audio for the really cool jams that we've been listening to. I want to say thank you to my players. You guys, seriously, you make it worthwhile. And, of course, everybody at home, thank you. Feel free to come back anytime. We have lots of fun stuff here on the channel, and they have lots of fun stuff on their channels, as we said. We're going to raid our good friend Phantom NJ, who is also doing some streaming for charity right now, also with the St. Jude stuff as well. I played a game with him yesterday. It was amazing. We played Castles and Crusades, and I got to be a stuck-up elf, which was really fun. What? Do I have a type? What? Different than others. But anyway, he's awesome. He's having fun. Thank you all so very much. We will all see you soon. Until next time, of course, take care of one another. Thanks a lot. And raid. We're going to raid. We're going to raid everybody. Why is it not going? There it goes. Oh, you got to hit the right button. I did it right.
Cubs win.
Cubs win. Cubs win.
very, very much for the raid. I've been kind of remiss in doing this, but
Guys, this seems to be a bit of a coward's way to fight, but I don't know if we're in a position to really delve into that theologically.
They fight on the street.
Lila turns to you with a bit of a snort and says, "What?